We have to start supporting ourselves. We have to add value to our content and our voices. We have to start supporting ourselves.
Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they done. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they done. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they done. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they done. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really him, but they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really him, but they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Please don't. Please support on it. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really him, or they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. I'm really real one of them ones, are they dumb? Thumbs up. Subscribe, cash app, $sign on box rhyme.
The entire purpose of affirmative action, set-asides, civil rights laws that limit constitutional rights to freedom of contract, freedom of association, all of that was to make up for the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. So unless these benefits are going to, roughly defined, foundational Black Americans, the descendants of American slaves, you've taken away the whole purpose of this. So to make the point that Kamala isn't a foundational Black American, I'm always pointing to unless these benefits are going to, roughly defined, foundational Black Americans, the descendants of American slaves.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You're just starting to get real credit for that, okay? I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense?
You have said that you resent the idea of being called an African American, that
Yes.
you are a Black American.
Yes.
Explain.
I think that when they call Black people who were born and raised for generations in this country, if you accept the handle of African American, that says that you don't accept being an American American. You don't accept being born in Chicago or New York or Detroit or wherever you were born. For generations, your family's been here, you know? Built this country too. Sweat and tears and all that, you know, fought in every war, okay? So this is my country here. So I don't want to be called African American. I'm an American American. My people have died and done everything for this country.
I'm always going to be known as a Black American. I can't call myself an African American because when they want to separate us, then they say we are African American. But remember this: when I'm competing in the Olympics, I didn't compete on the African American Olympic team. I competed on the American Olympic team. So don't separate me when you want to separate me.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. And yes, my ancestors come from Africa. How long does a bloodline have to live in one land before they are considered a pure species of that land? Meaning, how long did my people have to be in America to say, hey, no, we're American, compared to some people who are English American, who are Irish American, who are German American from their ancestors, but they get to call themselves American. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means
Africans don't even fuck with us.
Wow.
Because they don't. We're not from the motherland. We're from America. So I'd rather say I'm a Black American. So I consider myself a Black American. I don't consider myself African American and shout that. Because Africans don't even fuck with us.
Wow.
Because they don't.
I don't mind the term African American. I don't want to be called African American.
Why is that?
I'm not African.
Very strong.
How Afro get in front of my motherfucking race. I ain't never been to Afro-Con. I never been to Africa. Afro or Africa. Never been there. I'm not from Africa. I'm born and raised in Goose, Florida. I was born in Goose, raised in Liberty City, in the Poker Bean Project. Ain't never went to Africa. Ain't think about going there. And I heard it's a beautiful place. Yeah. And I know it's the motherland, yes. But not my mother, not her mother, and not her mother's mother. That ain't their land. America, real true land is right here in the U.S. soil.
The African Day Parade, you don't see the Africans. You got the festival that be going on in Brooklyn, the band festival, the African festival. Where's the Africans at? When we doing our rallies and our marches, where's the Africans at on your side? Talk to us really about that, man.
See, let me tell you something. We think slavery in America was something. Slavery in Africa is still in force. You talking about deaf, blind, and dumb. Don't confuse because somebody got on some printed cloth that's printed in Holland or India that you're looking at an African cultural expression. That's not an African cultural expression. That cloth was printed in a European country and then sold to Africans. And they've accepted that as their cloth. You understand what I'm saying? Just that piece. Now, they do speak the language, but they know less about their history than you and I do. So you've got a deaf, blind, dumb, backwards person speaking an African language, coming from the African country, came here to be a parasite, eat on and play down, because these people are so punked out and scared of the white man that they feel because they're scared of the white man, they got to be against us.
Explaining what Foundation of Black American is and tell them I'm both. Is explaining what Foundation of Black American is and tell them I'm both.
Our people, brother, or are we our own people now?
No, we got to understand two things. We have a race and then we have an ethnic place. Ethnically, we African Americans. Just like a guy from Africa, he can say he's African, but there's no country called African. He's either Nigerian, Ghanaian, Malian, or something. That's his ethnic nation.
There's no country called African. He's either Nigerian, Ghanaian, Malian, or something. That's his ethnic nation.
Racially, we are together, but
economically, we may well be enemies.
African Americans prioritize blackness isn't necessarily the same way in which an immigrant would prioritize their blackness. So, you know how African Americans will say, oh, black writer, black creator, black artist, black lawyer, black doctor, black woman in STEM. No, when we come to this country, it's immigrant or nationality, maybe our careers next, and then whatever else comes after that. So immigrant, Jamaican, marketer, whatever else comes after that. The issue that you're having is we don't see ourselves as one of you. And the reason that we don't see ourselves as one of you.
Number two, none of us were there during the days of slavery. So whatever story they have taught us, we don't sold it, that your brother sold you. I wasn't there, you weren't there, so we don't even know what truth there is. And even if it's the truth, how many years ago have they been? Some of you have forgiven the white man, but you refuse to forgive your so-called brothers who sold you to the white man. I don't believe that story because I wasn't there.
Them to slavery as opposed to seeing it as, first of all, why do you believe the white man's history so much? I went to boarding school in Cameroon, and I learned that one of the tactics that they used to get Africans in the slaves in the ships, they stole them literally. They would what's the word? They would come to the chief and say, hey, we just need a couple of men to work for this X amount of time, and those men would never come back. I mean, there were so many different sneaky ways that they got people away. Do you think Africans were proud to?
Okay, so
I
would like to say something as well.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead, Rashad.
You have the women of Dahomey. They were doing, I think it was 75% of slaves that came through the transatlantic slave trade came straight through there. Matter of fact, they had, if I remember right, they had a tree. They used to have their slaves walk around called the tree of forgetfulness because they didn't want, when those slaves died over there, their spirits to come back and haunt them. They were brutal with their tactics, cutting jaws off, killing.
What are your sources? Where is this?
Google.
Zora Neale Hurston is one of the greatest.
I have never heard that in my life.
Okay.
The effort of Black Americans, that it was because of maybe their sacrifice that Africans were able to come to America, and I disagree with that. I disagree because Black Americans, just as my brother here, Ovie, stated, they did not participate in my effort to come into America. The same experience they had, we have same experience. They were our brothers. They were kidnapped. We did not sell our brothers. We never sold them to anybody. We were kidnapped, and they were lied to. Their descendants were lied to that they were sold. No, there was no money there. We did not exchange them for anything. So they were kidnapped, brought to America. We were traumatized. And when we grew up, we now began to hear the story that our brothers were kidnapped and brought them to America. Then we're eager now to go and see our brothers. With love and happiness, we now came to see our brothers, only to be met with hatred or rejection. Now, our brothers rejected us. But when we came in, we now find out the truth that actually when they were brought up here...
You say African American.
Yeah.
What's that mean for you?
It just means that, like me, like I know like a lot of people, like African Americans in general, like Black people say they're African American, and like that always confuses me. Sometimes it's like, well, are you really African American, or are you just like Black? Like, of course, there's this like long line of ancestry where
sounds
people who are born in America and are Black are, I guess, because of slavery and that long line of ancestry are considered African American. But I feel like for me, it should be more like a direct or more recent link. Yeah. So therefore, Black people in America aren't technically really African American. Like, it's really weird.
You identify as African American?
No. Well, I'd lie. I'm lying. Okay, systematically, it's because that was the only box I had.
Or meaning it umbrellas more people than just Black Americans that have a lineage in this country. We didn't know that. Okay, so when we say Black American, African American, we were using it in a way where it only referred to ourselves. But unbeknownst to us, this country had a different plan for those terms. So Obama start to be catapulted as possibly, because he's running for president, as the first black president, and also the first African American president. So many black people say, oh, hell no. That's not, if he wins, that's not reflective or symbolic as the first black American. We will all say he don't have no slave roots here. He come from somewhere else. That's not a win for the people who have descendants, who are descendants of slavery in America. That's not a win for us. That's not overcoming slavery to run to be chief and commander of the country. That ain't what that is. Our thing was, wow, we went from being a slave to chief and commander of the country. Obama becoming president, that don't represent that. That represents a person coming from another country, immigrating over here and becoming president. Like, what that got to do with us? That's what we were saying. And here's case in point.
Obama.
Wait, first of all, I'm gonna first show a white American. See, there was no real term. So once immigrants of Africa and the Caribbean were being called African American, there was really no way to differentiate black U.S. nativists, right? People born in this country who always had citizenship dating back from 1865, emancipated persons, right? There was no way to differentiate us from recent African immigrant, Caribbean immigrants. So they would use one acronym to distinguish us from them. Watch this.
Obama will announce his candidacy this weekend at the old state capitol in Springfield, Illinois, where Abraham Lincoln made his stirring House Divided speech. How historic. At a building made famous by the man who freed the slaves, Obama isn't the descendant of slaves.
So he went to do a speech at Abraham Lincoln, whatever, to be symbolic of Abraham Lincoln freeing slaves. And he's saying, Obama, what they got to do with you? You weren't, your family doesn't come from the freed slaves. So he said the acronym that we use today, ADOS. He said Obama is not a descendant of slaves. So basically, why are you there? Why are you there? That's something for a black American. Like, had Jesse Jackson won, let's say had Al Sharpton won, that's something that they can do. Why are you there? You're not a descendant of slavery. So you got a white man acknowledging that there's a difference. So why are we grouped together? Our differences should be respected. Watch this. So by the way, this is 2007. Let's cook.
Is Barack Obama black?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. This is Deborah Dickinson. This is 2007. This is light years before ADOS, light years before FBA, light years before an official delineation movement. You want to call it that? Light years before that. So we were already delineating way before, because we were saying, ho, you the first black what? You the first African American. No, you're not. So this was the sentiment during that time. I remember I was in these spaces. I remember. So is Obama black? No, he's not. Why? Because he's not, like the white man said earlier. No, because he's not DOS. In order to be a black American, you have to be DOS, descendant of slavery. ADOS, American slavery.
Is Barack Obama black?
No, he's not. In the American political context, black means the son of West African, the descendant of West African slaves brought here to labor in the United States. It's not a put down. It's not to say that he hasn't suffered. It's not to say that he doesn't have a glorious lineage of his own. It's just to say that he and I, who am descended from West African slaves brought to America, we are not the same.
We are not the same. 2007. We're not done. This is also 2007. This is a brother, a minister of Nation of Islam, ex-minister. This is Minister Keith X. This is also 2007. So now, as you can see, that people were resenting Obama being labeled the first black anything and the first African American anything, because they all understood he's not representing the descendants of slavery in America. So we knew that if you pitch him as the first black, the first African American, that would be received as he had lineage here. This is a win for the lineage. And we're saying, oh, hell no, that's not a win for the lineage. That's a win for Kenya. That's a win for Africa. That's not a win for those who were formerly enslaved and the descendant of those who were enslaved, the descendants of those who were enslaved. Listen to this.
In their politics. They don't see you as part of the politics. That's right. Barack Obama is a big joke to derail the system. You're not in their politics.
So I want you to see the date. 16 years ago, you see the date, 16 years ago. This is 2007, okay? So it's longer than 16 years, but let's go. It was uploaded 16 years ago. How do I know? This is my channel.
They don't see you as part of the politics. That's right. Barack Obama is a big joke to derail the Democratic Party from getting in. That they can leave Republicans in there and continue to do what they're doing. Not only that, he's not black.
You heard that. He didn't stutter. Not only that, he's not black. And what do we mean by you're not black? We mean you're not a descendant of slavery in America. That's all that means when we're saying we're not black. When I say we're the only black people in the world, that's exactly how I'm using it. We're the only people who were enslaved in the United States of America. We're the only blacks. Because that's how it's defined. When we came up with the word black, it was tied to our unique experience in America, starting from the 1600s all the way to where we are now. So you cannot be black if you can't trace your lineage to U.S. chattel slavery. It's a real simple understanding that was beyond me. This brother just said it in 2007. Deborah Dickerson said it in 2007. And the white guy was like, yo, no, he ain't the first nothing because he's not a descendant of slaves. So that's how black is being defined and how it's always been defined. So how did African American and why did African American replace black? Now we see how black is being defined, a descendant of slavery in the US, right? In the USA. So if African American is coming to replace that, how is that defined? And I can tell you, it ain't defined the same way. So basically people are trying to replace our unique experience in this country. They're trying to dilute it. So now when recent immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean come over here, they're not DOS. They're not ADOS. They're not foundation. They're not FBA. They're not descendants of freedmen. But they're allowed to take on titles, names that is tied to descendants of freedmen or the Freedmen Bureau and freedmen emancipation. They're taking on titles that's tied to building this country up, tobacco, free labor, tobacco, all that type of stuff, cotton, railroads, convict leasing, black reconstruction. When you take on these names, you're taking on that as well. There's no way to separate it. This is why we're saying, oh no, this got to stop. And now they're taking advantages of resources that's allocated supposedly just for those harmed parties, and we were the only people here that were harmed as an entire people. You had individuals here and there, but as an entire people, we were the only people to never benefit from this system. So those other people that were harmed, whatever, they got the reparations. Their reparations were they were included into whiteness, so they got white privilege, and they benefited from all of these welfare programs that we never benefit from. We were never brought into whiteness. That's the difference. Okay, so last video. So this is obviously Dr. Minkongo, Domingo, whatever. But this is 14 years ago. Now, this is I guess, a Pan-African doctor, whatever. That I guess he studies African studies, whatever. But even he is going to testify of the ongoing debate whether Obama, not just Obama represents something. He represents recent immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean, how they're not black. Listen.
Over the past few days, the debate has been raging once again over President Obama's blackness. Some saying he's not black enough or African American enough because.
I'm done. Okay. So I showed 3 different people around the same time acknowledging that this was an ongoing topic. He's not black. Okay. So let's leave that and let's come here. We got to come here. Y'all remember this guy right here? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, so Dr. King and from my research, has never identified himself as an African American, but he did identify himself as a Negro, maybe colored, and for sure black. So the question is, how did we go from black to African American, and why? What is the agenda behind it?
Believe. I come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. As I said to the group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. I come here tonight, an Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennysonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and...
Okay, so he used the word Negro. What else?
Sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. Don't let anybody take your manhood. Be proud of our heritage. As somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black.
And that's why everybody rejected the term. Except, okay, and then we took on the term and redefined it as something other than those synonyms. You dig?
It's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure, high, and clean. But
by the way, let's get these likes up. I mean, the regulars, you got to know when you come in, the regulars of the lineage that supposedly support, like, you guys got to know when you come in, like the video. I mean, God, I should have to say this every live. I got to say this every live. Simply like the video. This is a big deal. I'm cracking the code. Okay. Great research here. Let the family come in and embrace it and understand it and comprehend it and even share it. Like the video.
But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
I'm black and beautiful. Dr. King, he didn't say I'm African American and proud, I'm African American and beautiful. He said I'm black and proud, I'm black and beautiful. So why, if black is synonymous with pride and beauty, why would we change it? It sounds like a perfect word to describe people of the lineage that stems from U.S. chattel slavery. What need to change that word if it's synonymous with pride, beauty, and power, black power. Let's hear that guy.
Been concerned about white America, never about our problem has been as black people, we've all
Our problem as being black people. Who's this? Does he look familiar? This is Stokely Carmichael. All right. He is champion as creating the term, the chant, black power. Okay. Not African American power, not African power. Okay. Black power. So again, I asked the question, if black is synonymous with beauty, pride, and power, what needs to replace that with anything? Hello? Why would you change a name that's synonymous with pride, power, and beauty? To me, it sounds like a finesse. Okay, a finesse. So this man right here, his name is Stokely Carmichael. I think he changed his name to Kwame Ture, something like that. But you can see black people. This is 1960 something, 67 or something like that.
Our problem has been as black people, we've always been concerned about white America.
Okay, so if this brother, and like I said, he coined the term, they say black power. So he should be the last person, right, to switch his position from black to black people, like he just said, to African American, right? He coined the term black power. He should be one of the last people to change that position, right? Because if we got him change his position and dropping black, that's synonymous with power, beauty, and pride. And he's now adopting a new term that sounds like a play to me. Okay, so now let's go here. So what he's going to do, what Tariq Nasheed's going to do, is show a old video of our activists having a problem with African American very early in its inception. Check this out.
They're going to be very uncomfortable with it, but then they're going to have to start accepting it and respecting it, because so many people for so long they've accepted being able to. Now this is Steve Coakley. This is back in the 90s, where Steve Coakley was talking about how people use the term African American and how African American is kind of problematic. This is Steve Coakley from the 90s. All right. Hold on. Check out how he's breaking this down. All right. Hold on.
So let's see here. Let's continue.
Okay. The audio is a little janky, but we'll work through it, guys.
Hey, look at their pockets. Hey, how about this one? How about, did you see those blacks go to the hotel, the Hyatt Regency Hotel, and declare themselves black Americans? Yeah. So we call ourselves African Americans. Blacks call themselves.
Okay, so he's talking about white South Africans. I think he said they're in a hotel. I'm guessing, I don't know. It's kind of like shaky, the audio. Maybe in America, but they're calling themselves African American. Okay. This is what's going on. This is 1980 sometime. This is 1980 sometime, and he's speaking about white South Africans calling themselves African Americans. You know, it's impossible for them to ever call themselves black, right? Because black started over here. Black was tied to descendants of slavery in America. Okay. Black was tied to being foundational in America, and black was tied to Emancipation Proclamation. You dig? So anybody just can't take on that term without those three things being attached to it. But African American left the door open. So now we got white South Africans calling themselves black African Americans, and it's in the paper. That's what he's holding up. He's upset that this is going on. Check this out.
African Americans. Yeah. Hey man, they went to the white hotel and declared they was black African Americans. Now you see the word African American? Very tricky. Now just think about it. A young white fella whose great-great-grandfather was born in Johannesburg, South Africa, who
You heard that part. White person who great-great-grandfather was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. So you're definitely talking about white people.
Father was born in South Africa, he was born in South Africa, who came to America, is an African American, he would say. Right. Hey, so we can't have a white African American and a black African American.
Oh, what do you say? We can't have a white African American and a black African American. That's why the term doesn't make sense. It leaves the door open. But black originally didn't. So in 2025, or originating back in 2016, 17, we closed the door again with the terms ADOS, Descendants of Freedmen. That's not a term, that's an actual real thing, real event, and FBA, Foundation of Black Americans. So we closed the door again. The door was open for how long? About 30 years. So we're closing that door. So when we make the argument that Elon Musk can be called African American if he came to America, and you guys say that's false, well, who looks dumb now? Your boy right here, this activist, is showing that they're being called, white people are being called. They came to America, like he said, these white South Africans came to America and they're being called African American in America. We got a super chat. Claude, Neely, France, Amos, $10 super chat. Selenius Love. He said, just like the movie Terminator, John Connor was targeted for termination in America. Black Americans, FBA, have been targeted for exploitation. Delineation counters, prevents exploitation. 100%. Thanks for the lineage love. Check this out.
Can't have them both. So somebody's impersonating African American.
But he said we both can't be called white. We both can't be called African Americans. Somebody's impersonator, basically.
So we got to America is an African American, you would say. Right. Hey, so we can't have a white African American and a black African American. Can't have them both. So somebody's impersonating African American. So we got to deal with that question. That's something got to be dealt with up ahead.
We got to deal with that, and something got to be done. So don't get mad at us for dealing with it and doing something about it today. All right. So wait, there's more. There's more. I did some research you're never going to find on the internet in one place. I put all this together. There's more. But if you guys want to value this research, hint, hint, we got room for more super chats and cash apps. Hold on. My God. Give me a second. Let me delete some of these tabs.
Daddy, I said that.
All right, so now let's get down to it. So remember Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, who was known for Black Power. You know, Black is synonymous with power, pride, and beauty. He would never change that position, right? He would stick with black. Well, let's see. So after Jesse Jackson introduced the term African American, and we're going to go over that. We're going to go over his reasons why he came about with that term and what was it to replace. I'm going to give a spoiler alert. So Jesse Jackson indeed brought African American to replace black, not to go along with it, to replace it. Okay, so for some strange reason, Jesse Jackson wanted to replace a name for us that's synonymous with power, pride, and beauty. Find that you and I both should find that very interesting. All right, so look. Anyway, there's a feature in Kwame Ture.
You don't want to change from black.
No, well, I don't disagree that.
So no, I don't want to change to black. This is 1989, and African Americans being forced on them, and they having a public roundtable discussion how they're saying, I don't want a new term. I want to stick with black. So when you have people in 2025 who act like FBA is the new term, it's not the new term. FBA is the old term. African American is the new term. This is why they're saying, I don't want to change. I want to stay black. Listen.
Mr. Winter, you don't want to change from black.
No, well, I don't disagree that it is important for us to be cognizant of where we come from and the depth of our history that began before slavery. I just don't see the particular need in calling for renewal of the movement to leapfrog over the 400 odd years of history and of
Yeah, he don't want to leapfrog of our unique, precious history in America to look at what goes on in Africa that we know nothing about. We have no recollection of any history, any experience in Africa. So he's saying, I don't want to leapfrog over our unique, beautiful experiences in this country, 400 years to fantasize over something that never was.
Proud accomplishments that we can point to and indeed need to reacquaint our children with here in this country first. So I believe that it is important to teach the children and to, in general, imbue Black America with a knowledge of where it comes from, but to focus this effort on claiming what is ours here as Americans, which is the country that we are citizens of and where we pay our taxes.
Okay, so again, this is 1989 in a roundtable discussion with Kwame Ture, and he said, nah, we're Black Americans. We're going to stand on business here. We got 400 years here. This is bona fide our place. We were about what happens over here. Watch this. Watch the rebuttal. Okay, I'm sorry. This is another FBA Black man, and he's going to speak to African American or Black. Watch this.
I haven't got time to change the rules. I've got to look at what is. I guess I'm more practical about this.
Okay, so he's speaking on Kwame Ture talking about, oh, America is a capitalism. We got to get rid of capitalism. We need to change this country from capitalism to socialist. Okay, we need socialism. We need to share the resources. So he's like, yo, listen, I ain't got time to be changing the rules, bro. I got to speak to what's practical, what we can do tomorrow, today. Not some fantasy of changing America from a capitalist society to a socialist society. Like, dude, are you serious? Like, that's not even practical, is what he's saying.
I haven't got time to change the rules. I've got to look at what is. I guess I'm more practical about this. Maybe the ideal panacea is to change the rules and make it all a kind of a equal socialistic state. But in the meantime, let's talk about what is. This is a capitalistic society. We are here. We are paying our taxes. We are doing work each and every day. And I think we have the right to participate. We have sent people to war since the revolutionary times and spilled our blood for America, from Crispus Attucks and the Revolutionary War all the way down through this Vietnam. So therefore, I want to get what you can construe as my piece of the action like everybody else has gotten. And it really annoys me to see people who haven't made this kind of contribution over the years come here and feel that they can claim.
Oh, that's a shot. He's talking to Kwame Ture because, spoiler alert, Kwame Ture is holding on this new term, African American, after he championed and coined Black Power. Now he's shifting over to African American. And this brother said, what annoys me is that people like Kwame Ture, shots fired, coming over yesterday and trying to get into our politics.
Piece of the action like everybody else has gotten. And it really annoys me to see people who haven't made this kind of contribution over the years come here and feel that they can claim it and get it. And we have done that.
You have a response, sir?
Of course.
Okay, you heard that was very clear. What annoys him is that people from other countries, he's speaking about the Caribbean and Africa, who can come over here and claim what's ours. So he resents the terminology African American. Okay, so she asked Kwame Ture, does he want to rebut? He said, of course. Watch this.
And we have done that.
You have a response, sir?
Of course. In the first place, just because we're in just because we're in the capitalist system doesn't mean we must love it. We were made slaves. It doesn't mean the white.
I haven't got time to change.
Yeah, look, I ain't got time to change that.
Change the rules. I've got to look at what is. I guess I'm more practical about this.
See, he's like, yo, what's all this capitalist talk? That's what I'm trying to say. Family, these folks were not really team FBA. Team black, because we none of our ancestors was like, yo, no, capitalism is the problem. Yo, what we gotta do is we gotta change capitalism to socialism. You see what I'm saying? Because capitalism, people are greedy. He wasn't talking that. This dude is coming with some foreign language similar to Marcus Garvey and trying to implant it on us, paste it on us.
would show our suffering, our contribution over the years up.
Hold on. Let me shout out Lanita Goings, super chat 1999. She's valuing this content, this research. She know that this you ain't gonna find all of this in one place on the internet. Okay, she says this was a ploy to replace the slavery narrative. Of course, white folks knew that at some point we're gonna claim reparations. We're gonna fight and want to be repaired monetarily and everything else. So hey, let's call everybody African Americans. Let everybody worship Africa. If you worship Africa, there's no slave trade. There's no reparations. There's no U.S. chattel slavery because your mind is back on Africa, not in America. As long as you're in America, you're going to always think about chattel slavery. You put your mind on Africa, you're thinking about what goes on in Africa. Okay. So thank you for the super chat. The lineage love, Lanita Goings. I think more people should find some value in this information and send some super chat love. Like the video, at the very least, like the video. The Cash App there. Again, this is research you're not going to get in one place. Watch this. And I'm not even nowhere near done.
Would show our suffering, our contribution over the years up until the year 1989 as to what we have done to give something to America. I think to try and leapfrog back and take youngsters in 1989 and tell them about our agrarian background in Africa is almost impossible at this point in time. The other problem with this is I listened to one gentleman on the thing say, well, during the campaign we talked about Michael Dukakis as being a Greek American. Well, Greek American pinpoints a country called Greece. African American does not pinpoint any country. It is a continent. And therefore, either you're going to play a game called European American or African American, or otherwise, again, we still haven't been able to refine ourselves down to where we come from, whether we come from Nigeria or Cuba, would show.
Okay, you see that? He cooked that term African American. That's a continent. What is that? So he's saying Jesse Jackson wanted to implement African American the same way Italians are called Italian American. By the way, we're talking about immigrant Italians or Ethiopian American immigrants, Puerto Rican Americans, whatever, Dominican Americans. Like these are all immigrants. These are recent immigrants. So he's saying, why would we want to take on a term that'll make us recent immigrants, like the recent immigrants? Said, nah. And he dated this interview. You heard him say 1989. He said, now in 1989, we're going to redefine ourselves to become immigrants, basically. So let's get some Kwame Ture in this. All right, let's see what he got to say.
I would posit that that's not true. If you look again at the nations of Africa, if you look at...
So he's rebutting Kwame Ture. He said, no, that's not true. All right. So FBA is like, yo, dude, what's up with you, man? You were Mr. Black Power. Now you on some other shit now.
Posit that that's not true. If you look again at the nations of Africa, if you look at African people in every country of the world, especially in recent times, they essentially want things. They want products. They want the things that it's, at least up to this point, demonstrated that...
Okay, I know what he's rebutting. He's rebutting Kwame Ture capitalist rant. Oh, it's a capitalist country. Oh, no, the greedy, blah, blah, blah. And he's saying, ho. I recall in Africa, these guys want capitalist things. They want cars, and so that's what. So he's responding to the capitalist rant, sounding like what's that guy? The Bilderberger, the Illuminati, Alex Jones. So you got Kwame Ture here sounding like Alex Jones. Capitalism. It's a great country. It's gonna fall. America's gonna fall.
Only capitalism of Africa. If you look at African people in every country of the world, especially in recent times, they essentially want things. They want products. They want the things that it's, at least up to this point, demonstrated that only capitalism, with its imperfections and with its inequities, which hopefully some people believe can still be tamed, people want things. And I don't somehow see a worldwide Pan-Africanism as also spelling the death knell for capitalism at the same time. It seems inconsistent. There are too many people who want cars in Lagos, Nigeria. Last time I checked, the traffic jams are horrendous.
I don't think we.
You're like, yo, you see, you're like, yo, this Pan-African stuff y'all pushing is not realistic. It's not practical. And we're not going to waste time entertaining that. Like, yo, our fight is totally different. We don't need what you're talking about. We need all this anti-capitalist stuff. That's not our fight, my guy. Take that shit to Ghana. We got a whole different fight here.
One of the first organizations we had fighting for us is known as the Free African Society. The very first independent organization we had in this country was the church. It was known as the African Methodist Episcopalian Church.
Hold on. So you didn't know that in 1960 when you were championing Black Power? You didn't know that then? Come on now.
So from Africans, our oppressor has changed us to colored, to Negro, to this, to that. We understand it's a step. Coming to black had a powerful point, because the point was that we were oppressed because of this color of our skin, and this was racism. But this fight is not just a fight over the color of our skin, a fight.
No, it was never about the color of our skin. So this is what happens when you come over here as an immigrant and you start taking our terminologies and you start to like do the Garvey thing, come up with your own answers and, you know, own solutions and don't check in with us. Bro, black was never a color thing for us, my guy. That's what you thought. Let's go back a little bit.
Africans, our oppressor has changed us to colored, to Negro, to this, to that. We understand it's a step. Coming to black had a powerful point, because the point was that we were oppressed because of this color of our skin, and this was racism. But this fight is not just a fight over the color of our skin.
So this is a justification for moving on from black to African American.
A fight for power is a fight for land. When Mr. Llewellyn speaks about power, he's talking about land. Our land is Africa. America is not our land. It belongs to the American Indians. And we have.
You heard that? You hear this guy? America is not our land. He sounds just like people of today. That's not your land. Where's your land? You're lost. You don't have a land. You're lost. You're lost. Yo, yeah. This is your boy. This is the guy that everybody championed at one point. Oh, he's a rider. This ain't your land, Black Americans. You niggas are lost. Okay? You don't have culture. This is exactly where he's going.
When Mr. Llewellyn speaks about power, he's talking about land. Our land is Africa. America is not our land. It belongs to the American Indians. And we have a right to stand and take a moral struggle with them. And we don't worry about people being for things. People want things is incorrect. The point is not to explain the world. The point is to change it. If the people want material things, then we have a responsibility to tell them.
This guy said the point is to change the world. When the hell did we ever say that? That's what I'm trying to say. People come over here and try to represent us, try to speak for us, and then change our talking points. We ain't never say we're trying to change the world. The hell, man? Yo, this is Babel. This is official Babel.
When black was coined, because I was somewhat in high school and I was on the listening end, as indeed you were doing.
So he's going to respond to Kwame Ture directly, and he's going to speak to the Black Power thing. Watch this.
It was coined because I was somewhat in high school and I was on the listening end, as indeed you were doing the talking. But it's always been my feeling that black was more than the recognition of where our blood comes from.
Uh-oh, you see? Cooked them. He said black being a color. Nah. That's not how we view black. Is that how you view black? When you was saying Black Power, you thought we was talking about dark skin, melanin expression? Let's go back.
When black was coined, because I was somewhat in high school and I was on the listening end, as indeed you were doing the talking. But it's always been my feeling that black was more than the recognition of where our blood comes from. It has a lot to do with the experience of people of color in a larger sense under colonialism, whether it was external colonialism, let's say in the Caribbean, or the internal colonialism that we had to deal with here in the United States, rather than simply a statement of Africa. Because the fact is, we have become...
So he just told you, when we were saying we're black, he said we would even extend it to the diaspora. He said that had nothing to do with Africa. He said when we were saying black, maybe amongst the diaspora. That's it. It had nothing to do with being from Africa or fighting for Africa. The diaspora at best, but nothing to do with Africa. So we got a $2 super chat. The latest love from Alex Berry says, thanks, Ron, for standing on FBA business. Salute to you. We got $10 super chat. Latest love in the building from First Class Citizen. He says, so Stokely Carmichael, after the name change, Scam African conversation became a tether. This is a classic example why we can't have immigrants involved in our political affairs. Interesting. Interesting comment. Thank you for the $10 super chat. The Lydia's love is on fleek so far. All right, let's go on because they're checking Stokely Carmichael in real time. This almost like they're like A. Philip Randolph and W. Du Bois doing the whole Garvey Must Go campaign. Is like they doing the Stokely Carmichael Must Go campaign.
Colonialism, let's say in the Caribbean, or the internal colonialism that we had to deal with here in the United States, rather than simply a statement of Africa. Because the fact is, we have become more than simply descendants of Africa. We have created a lot.
He sound like Tariq Nasheed, don't he? We have become more than just descendants of Africa. He's speaking to our ethnogenesis. This is 1989 in front of Stokely Carmichael's face, calling him out like, bro, we're not what you're saying we are. Like, I don't know where you got that from. We're more than that.
Have become more than simply descendants of Africa. We have created a lot of what America is in our own image. When you talk about this cultural-based offensive, I would rather see us claim American culture when black was coined.
I would rather see us claim America or American culture. Right in his face. All this African talk you talking, bro. Take your ass to Ghana and you do that with Nkrumah. But we're not going nowhere. We're staying here for the long haul. We're fighting here, and we're African American. I mean, we're black. We're black. All the African stuff, you take that to Ghana. But we're black here, and we want to fight for black American culture.
I would rather see us claim American culture when black was coined.
I would rather see us claim American culture. All right, so we got Claude Neely. Let me get the name. Hold on. Let me get the name right. Okay, so we got Claude Neely Francis Amos. Back in the super chat, $10. Lydia's love. Okay. He says the FBA Renaissance helps FBA rediscover ourselves. We're not generic Africans but we're not generic Africans, but a different and unique people. Not only different from Africans, but different and unique from any group in the world. Facts. Been making that same claim as well.
Coined because I was somewhere in high school and I was on the listening.
Okay, so he addressed him like, yo, how you go from Black Power to we're African American and everything's about Africa when Black Power was a chant everything about Black America and at the very most the diaspora, but nothing about Africa is what he was saying.
I would rather see us claim American culture, which is not European culture. This
is the continuation because Stokely Carmichael kept watering down American culture as white man culture. You will see a lot of people talk that. They're not American. That's white man. So he said, no. So this is the continuation of what he was saying last time about I'll rather claim American culture, which is not white culture, which you're saying, Kwame Ture.
I would rather see us claim American culture, which is not European culture. America does not mean white. American doesn't mean white. It means a combination of European and African and Asian and the rest of the cultures of the whole world. This is what America is. And if it denies the fact of what is African within it, then it is up to us to continue to assert that no, America does not mean white. America means a melting and a combination of things.
Isn't that exactly what Tariq Nasheed said when I played this clip? that we're a mixture of this and that. He was speaking to our ethnogenesis. This guy in 1989 delineating, speaking to our ethnogenesis. All right, let's go.
Jamaica, the white man dropped you in Jamaica and brought you to Mississippi. So you don't define yourself by...
Okay, now look at now. Kwame Ture is doing that same old argument. Nah, we off in the slave ships, the same slave ships. You in Jamaica and put you in Trinidad. Like he's taking that position now.
Jamaica, the white man dropped you in Jamaica and brought you to Mississippi. So you don't define yourself by the enemy?
No, I define myself as the fighting places where I'm at, where I used to be, or where I thought I was.
So if you were fighting on a slave ship,
am I?
so if you're fighting on a slave ship, we fought on the slave ships. We fought on the slave ships. Did you call yourself a warder?
And you're still fighting in 1989, right here in New York City.
Until Africa is free, we won't be free.
All right, one final practical.
Right here in New York City.
Until Africa is free, we won't be free.
All right.
See, he's talking this African shit. Until Africa is free, we won't be free. He's yelling that shit. 54 countries. Until 54 countries are free, we won't be free. That's what he was arguing. And we're like, yo, what are you talking about, bro? The civil rights movement was not about freeing Africa. What are you talking about? Like he's completely lost. Some would say bought, compromised, and he's on his African American bullshit that Jesse Jackson is pushing. Okay, but he's clearly lost the message. What we're doing over here in America. What we do in America is not about freeing Africa. Never was, never been. All right. We like, yo, take your ass to Ghana and you go free Africa. And how successful was he? Little. He didn't. It didn't happen.
One final practical note. Mr. Winter, you're the only editor here. How should the media deal with...
Hey, Ekeen, brother, it's 9:42. You got 3 minutes. You got until 9:45 to click that link up top, or somebody got to get you up out of here. They got to block you. All right. You said the channel is dividing, so click the link and explain. I will add you to the content, my guy. So click the link, and because right now I'm just showing history and giving commentary, factual, historical commentary. You dig? So click that link. You got to 9:45, or you got to get. Matter of fact, you got to 9:44 to click that link, or somebody got to get you up out of here, my guy.
With this, as you can see, there's a debate over the issue. What about newspapers, television, books, magazines? I mean, should they continue to use, Haki said?
Okay, so now he's going to explain how foundational Black American today can replace what we don't want, which is African American, because it's too confusing. It serves as an ethnonym, which is exclusive, and it also serves as a racial term, which is inclusive. It's a contradictory by nature. It's a contradiction by nature. So he's going to explain how it works. Check this out.
He was going to continue to use both. I mean, what kind of guidance do you think should apply there?
Well, speaking immediately for newspapers, and again, while I don't represent directly the Wall Street Journal here, I can tell you that they have discussed.
Hey, Ekeen, you got 1 more minute, my guy. So you might as well get your stuff in now, because you're out of here if you don't click that link.
This issue recently and concluded that they will wait and watch to take the general standard of what comes to be common usage among...
So you see that? He said that the governments don't take a position on what Black Americans call themselves. He said they wait and watch and see what the consensus is amongst, or the census is amongst Black Americans. And then because watch this, why?
Black people in general, as at least we'll call it now.
Jamaica, the white man dropped you in Jamaica and brought you to Mississippi.
Yeah, so that's all. He said the government don't take a position because they don't want to offend anybody. So what they do is they sit back and see what we want to call ourselves, and they adhere to that.
That they have discussed this issue recently and concluded that they will wait and watch to take the general standard of what comes to be common usage among Black people in general, as at least we'll call it now, and moreover among academics and political and social leaders and that sort of thing. And if a consensus appears to emerge, then style changes will probably be forthcoming at our paper. And I believe, in fact, the New York Times has said similar things, which is about all they can do, because to them, it's, well, there's something going on there in the community and we don't really know what to make of it. All they want to know is that they really don't want to offend anyone in the end. If it becomes apparent that everybody wants this, then they'll likely go along, although they will use...
If it's apparent that everybody wants this, then likely they'll go along with it. It's that simple. FBA ain't going nowhere, and the government steps back, and if they see like if it appears like this is what the masses want to be called, they go along with it and they make it happen.
Use people of color in the media as sounding boards to.
All right, Alex, you in the building? What's up, man? What's dividing about this channel?
Hey, I'm Ekede. How you doing?
Good, very great.
Yeah, good. So number one, when you invite somebody in your channel and you give them time, you might understand that not everybody takes that. Okay, I'm just
wait. Not everybody. What? Wait. Hold on. Wait.
No, what I'm saying is that not everybody would like that.
Like what?
By telling me you have 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's my channel. No. Okay.
Yeah,
first of all, all right, let me mute you, bro. You're not going to come on my channel and dictate the rules. I could have gave you 30 seconds. I gave you 3 minutes.
Let me address what I came here for. Then I can leave your channel. Okay.
Wait. Before no. Dude, you joined my content. I set the narrative. You don't come here and start babbling. The entitlement.
I'm not here
okay, wait, no, okay. So wait, stop unmuting yourself. I'll let you know when to mute yourself. But what you're not going to do is come to my channel, my content, and then tell me what you're going to do. That's not how that works. You're going to speak to what I want you to do, or you got to get off. All right. I narrate my channel. You don't do that. Okay. You comply or you fly. Real simple. Now, you're going to answer this question first, because I read what you wrote. You said this channel is dividing. Speak to that comment only, and don't babble. Unmute and speak to how this channel is dividing. So now all of a sudden he don't know how to unmute. Dude, listen, man. All right, the show will continue. We're gonna wait on him. So as you can see, family, Kwame Ture jumped ship, right? All of a sudden, it's all about Africa. And this is 1989. This ain't too far from Jim Crow. You dig? And we like, yo, what are you saying? And you see Black Americans openly resented what he was pushing in his face. This anti-capitalist rhetoric. We like, what the hell's going on here? Okay. So when he figure out how to answer that question, how this channel is divisive, we'll let him speak. Right. Let me get a microphone check. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna do a quick live. I'm out and about. Get a little walk. You dig? Nice cold night. And I was gonna make I will eventually make a video, like a real presentation on this. But I said, let me just give a rough draft of some things that's important, because there's a lot of confusion going on with the language, and it's very important we straighten out the language. So as you can see, when I was so-called debating people, and they were confused, right, and everything, and they got disingenuous questions, bad faith questions, things like that, and then they're using Black for themselves, and these are people who are non-FBAs, and I see, okay, this is the confusion, especially when they talk to like people not outside of myself. When they talk to you guys, when they talk to Jason Black, she, my boy, ex-architect, all you guys need to check them on Black. So I was watching a little bit of Tariq Nasheed versus the Barbs. And then Dan finally said something to one of those Barbs. He was like, you ain't Black, or Nikki ain't Black, something like that. I'm like, thank you. Because the confusion is they're calling themselves black and we're not checking them. We're letting them call themselves black. So now they're confused on why we're delineating amongst black people. You feel me? So to them, it makes no sense. They're like, yo, why are you delineating from black people? We're black, you are black. That's why I take that from them immediately. I snatch that flying carpet from their feet so they can fall back down to earth. Get off their high horse. You're not black. You said Nikki was Trinidadian, Cardi B, or Dominican, whatever. That's exactly what you are. And then you got to correct them and educate them. Listen, you think we're using black from a skin tone. Remind them, Beyonce is considered black, and so is Jay-Z and their lovely daughter. And none of them are dark skinned, okay? Denzel Washington's black, he's not dark skinned. So we're not using black to describe how we look physically. That's how Arabs and that's how colonizers use black as a derogatory term and to describe a color of the people they're attempting to colonize. So you got the Arabs who call the Sudanese people Balad Sudan. Okay, the dark people of Sudan, the black people of Sudan. Adjective, descriptor, color. Okay. Now, when your ops call you a name and define it for you, you can do two things. You can accept it or reject it. You dig? So Sudanese people, so when your ops name you something, that name is called an ethnonym. Now, how you receive that name determines if it's a exonym or endonym. You copy, you dig. Okay. Let me fly this plane. Okay, buckle up. Now, Sudanese people took on the name and the definition of the Arabs. That's called an exonym. They took on the name and the definition of their oppressor. Okay? And they have that name till today. All right? They're called Sudanese people. Exonym. When I argue, I'm saying we're the only people on earth to use a color. So it's a couple things here that I'm making. So you got to pay attention. I'm making a claim that we're the only people to use a color outside of its adjectiveness, if I can say that, outside of its descriptor usage. And we're using it as a noun, but not any old noun, N-O-U-N, not any old noun, but a proper noun. So we're forcing the world to put the respect on black and capitalize it. Everybody else that would call black, their B were not capitalized, it's lowercase. I say big B, little b. Okay, so even with that, so the confusion last time with sis, when I was explaining that, even with that, the little b doesn't count because none of those guys today call themselves by that name, little b, today anyway. So if they did take this descriptive term, they still rejected the little b. Okay, right. But that's not what my claim is. My claim is we are the only black people, proper noun, person, place, or thing. It is capitalized. That's a big difference than a descriptor adjective word. Okay, we're not describing shit. We're defining and explaining who we are, our unique experience, unique ethnogenesis. Okay, so when people got around to name themselves, they didn't take on black. Okay, that was given to them by an outsider, Europeans or Arabs. When they had a chance to name themselves, it was not black. It was terms like names like Ghana, names like Eritrean, names like Jamaican or Jamaica, Haiti, Haitian, okay? Jamaican. This is what they call themselves when they had a chance to name themselves. They didn't name themselves after a color and use it in a proper noun sense. Okay? So when people say they're black Brits right now in the UK, that ain't the black how we use black. They're describing themselves how they look. They're describing what kind of Brit they are. You dig? And this comes way after our usage, of course. Now, these so-called black Brits, they have another name. What's the other name? They named themselves, they understand they're West African. They understand they're Nigerian. So with that understanding being on the table, you're out. We don't have a second name. We're just black. We're Black Americans. There's no second name. There's no, okay, so black Brit, right? And they'd be like, yeah, West Africa, Nigeria. Like, all right, nigga, you Nigerian. Oh, man, black Brit. You Nigerian, bro. Living in Britain, UK. You're not black. You're just copying off of us. You're not doing it right. You don't understand that we don't have another term outside of black. Just like Haitians don't have another term out of being Haitian. Jamaicans, I would assume Jamaican, so forth and so on. Now, we know that white people continue to name people things, like the West Indies. That's the white man influence. Okay? And then we have, oh yeah, it's cold. It's not ridiculous, but it is cold. Yeah. So anyway, I was trying to my son was waking up, so that's why I get away from it. I go live. He's gonna wake up, obviously, right? Especially how loud I get. Okay. So yeah, they're not black, but they're using it the way they think we use it, but they're just Nigerian, and they're using black as a sense to erase their past. Like, dude, you're Nigerian. You're Yoruba. You're not going to recreate yourself over here in the UK in the 1990s, the 2000s, 2010. That's when they got there. These guys are calling themselves Black Brit. They just got there. No, literally, they just got there. They're either daughters and sons of, so either their parents are direct immigrants or they're second gen. Okay, so either their parents are direct immigrants or they're second gen at most, at latest. They're second gen. They recently just got the hell black about you, bro. You African, you West African, you're Nigerian. All right, be Nigerian. Be proud tonight. Be proud to be Nigerian. Okay. So, real easy. We're the only blacks in that we named ourselves black. We gave it its own definition. It's a proper noun. It fits it checks all the boxes to be an ethnonym, right? Jamaican is a proper noun. Haitian, Congolese, Eritrean. So black, when we use black, it checks all the boxes of other ethnonyms. Okay? Okay. Hopefully we're getting somewhere. I mean, I didn't plan on going live at all, but I tried my phone about to die. I gave it like 40%. We do a quick live to get all this out the way. So that's what we mean by we're the only black. All right, nobody else is black because they're literally not black. They are literally from their country and they're named after their country, their language, or their tribe. Literally, they're not black. Like I said, the black Brits are Nigerian. Okay, and they're not going to deny that. They're going to say, yeah, West African Nigerian. Okay, Black Brits and shit they made up. Cosplay us. That's why it's important that we do not acknowledge them as Black in conversations, especially when it's a debate. You're muddying you wonder why you're struggling. It's because you're letting them allow them to call themselves Black, which makes the argument stupid. Because they're looking like, hey, I'm one of you, and you're saying they are not. They're like, wait, aren't you Black? Aren't I Black? We're the same. Okay, and even when they use it like that, they're using it as a racialized term. They're not even using it as an ethnonym, even when they use it in that sense. Let me ask Google something. How did the U.S. Give me a second. Let me type this in. Oh man, I got this African clicking and popping. Oh, I gotta show that before it is live. I mean, this guy was fluent. And the caption is, "This is the hardest language to write down." He's clicking and popping. Of course it is. How do you write down a click and a? How do you write this down? Like, how do you write this down? Like, how do you write this down? Like, how do you start to spell that? It's the hardest. Really? Good luck with that shit. You're not writing that down. Okay. That's your damn mind. But it's gonna be funny when I show the guy, because he was going in. And yo, it is really freezing. It's gotta be like 20-something degrees on the low end. Okay. So I asked, how did the US government define Black in the 1970s? Not how we define it, how did they come behind and define it? Because we called ourselves Black in the late 50s and early 60s. They hopped on board and called us Black from their own way. Okay. So they said the US government did not have a single universal definition for Black in 1970. Okay. That applied across all contexts, but in federal reporting and the census, it generally used categories based on origin or ancestry. For the 1970 census, most Americans filled out their own forms, and Black was one of the available categories, not African American. Black was there. Like I said, you guys not ready. You're not ready, man. Run your mouth. You're not ready. Okay. So let's morph into that now. So I explained who's Black, who's not Black. Okay. So in conversations, even if you even pull up on Jason Black or Tweet Nasheed or Afro-Elite, politely tell them, hey, man, that person not even Black. Like, just call them, ask them where they're from, and call them after their homeland, which they do. Okay, when they take their ass back to Zimbabwe, they're not saying they're Black. They're saying Zimbabwean. Okay. Oh, they're only Black magically when they get here. When they want some tangibles, money's allocated, all of a sudden they're Black. Okay. Anyway, so I got to catch. If somebody can, if somebody can email me if you're up and I'm up. If somebody can email me whenever Tariq's on Twitter or whatever, if y'all can email me the direct link to click it, don't care how late it is. If I'm up, I click it. If I'm not up, I'm not gonna click it. It's real simple. But the next time he's up late on Twitter or TikTok, and he's fending off some Heathers and Coons and white supremacists, send me an email of copy the link, send me an email and say, put in the title the subject Tariq's Live. You dig? My email is so easy to remember. Black, not African, okay? Black think tank at yahoo.com. I made up this email in the early 2000s. Okay, Black think tank at yahoo.com. Okay, so black. We got weirdos that's online. So I was at somebody's channel watching them debate. You know what I mean? Just peeking in. Normally when I go to people's channels, I don't say nothing. I just watch. I said, okay, let me say something just for that. You know what I mean? And of course, I became the focus. Like they stopped watching debate. All the comments about the debate stopped in the chat, and everything was focused on me. It's like, I'm like a little chatter celebrity. Like, all right, well, shit. Maybe I need to start conducting myself a little differently. Like these folks out here really got me as like a leader too. And very shortly they're gonna be saying I'm the leader. But that's how they treat me. Like they going to my Facebook, oh, he's from Newark. No, he's from this city in Plainfield. Why do you care? What is that gonna change? What you gonna pull up? Hey, you better say you're African American. Shit, you got a gun. Hey, I'm African American for today. For this live stream, I'm African American. You got that gun or knife, sir? That damn pipe bomb, that cocktail. You dig? Yeah, I'm that for tonight. You dig? Yeah, that it means that much to you. Like, yeah, so these guys are treat me like a damn celebrity, like a chatter celebrity. Like the second time I went to a chat to not debate, just comment on the topic, right? The video is being played. And I become the focal point. So I'm like, okay. People started to put some respect on the name. And then you'll see the people who would normally talk trash about me quiet. It works the other way too. The people who would normally gossip on panels when I come in the chat, they like either staying quiet or they like saluting me with a salute emoji. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, so they go to my Facebook picture and they see me with a red, black, and green, like a little something behind, like some bullshit behind my head, some red, black, and green. Oh, look, he used to be red, black, and green. Now he's okay. First of all, I was never like, you can't find no videos where I'm all in on red, black, and green. Like you'll see an image, you might see me with a dashiki, okay? And that's the thing, family. They think because we embrace something for the moment that we were down for 10, 20 years and no, weirdos. I wore a dashiki. I might wear it again. Who knows? I might wear another one. That don't mean I'm Pan-African. That don't mean I'm down with the cause of Pan-Africanism. Oh, red, black, and green behind that. Bro, do you see the picture? Do you see how young I look? Do you see how many braids I got in my hair, you fool? Why don't you go see the date on the picture? And again, that don't symbolize, oh, Ron, I'm by Ron, he was a Pan-African. Yeah, all right. You let me know the circles of Pan-African African that I was around and knew. Ask what Pan-African out there on earth had me in their group, and we talking about some, yo, we gotta buy the block back in Africa. Yo, we should start selling fly swatters and deodorant in Africa. Yo, we make a lot of money. Like, come on, bro. Stop. So, but like I already do those pictures there. I'm not gonna take them down. Like, yeah, for what? See, taking something down will signify you got something to hide. No, you leave it up. And like, unless if you were a Pan-African, so what? You know better now. You did. I was in the Nation of Islam, the organization, registered Muslim, Ron X. That's past tense. Oh man, look, we found his photo of he got a bow tie, a bean pie in his hand. Oh, we expose you. Really? Okay, so, but even still, we accept that you can be a Pan-African and FBA. Now we don't know how that really works, but we accept those two things can be true, and that's not a contradiction. You can be both, because a Pan-African is an ideology that does not work. It's a failed ideology, and FBA is your lineage. That's the name of your lineage. Like a Jamaican can be a Pan-African, an Italian can be a goddamn poker player, whatever they want to be, they could be that. Okay, that they don't take away from how you were born. So no, FB is not an ideology, it's not a theology, not a doctrine like Pan-Africanism is, or the Nation of Islamism is. It's not like that. All right. Yeah, they're gonna expose me. Okay, anyway. So FBA, let's get there now. So stop letting them say they're black. Check them immediately. Like, ask them when they become black. Ask them where they're from. And once they give you their homeland, like, aren't you? Oh, you're from Kenya? So aren't you Kenyan? Yeah, but I'm black too. Okay. Well, how long have you been calling yourself Kenyan? I don't know. They're gonna look dumb. Then you're gonna say, well, wasn't as long as the country was named Kenya, right? When it was named Kenya, it had residents, and the residents were citizens. It had citizens, and the citizens were named Kenyans, right? Okay. When did you become black? That's the next question. Okay, so when did you become black? Let me help you out. It had to be after 1960. You know how I know why? You know how I know why? Because nobody called themselves black and defined it before us. Before the Black Power, Black and Proud movement. Okay? So we know it's after 1960. That means it's after us. So if we called ourselves something, how do you get to become that? Did you ask us? You just took it. That's not how that works. Chop, chop. Okay. That's not how that works. There's levels to this. Okay. Make sure my audio good. Got it. Now let's start with the slave trade. Yes, Africans sold Africans. So this weirdo, and yo, they are really butthurt, and they really have a thing for me. They feel like I have a strong voice in this space. That's how they feel. Like, I look at myself as just another voice amongst 43 million FBAs. They see my voice as a strong voice. The dude was the dude Shah's son, the dude that got ADHD. He all hyper shit, can't shut up. He's on that other channel where I was at. Hey, yeah, you said I was wrong. You said I was wrong when I said Africans weren't majority the people selling Africans. I said, man, you were wrong. Okay? He said, I said they had involvement. Yeah, but they had most of all the involvement. They had most of the involvement. They had most of the involvement. Yeah, Europeans play a little role in the Africans. When I say role, I'm talking about selling and kidnapping, slave raiding. So let's be specific. The Europeans' role in the transatlantic slave trade as sellers and slave raiders, minimum low. Okay, that role was almost exclusively just Africans. Large percentage of slave raids, large percentages of the selling were Africans. Then you ask them this question. So you mean tell me white folks were selling Africans to themselves? So why is it called the, all right, dude, okay. Come on, man. All right. And like, he really wants to like, let's debate. Okay. Oh, your son, like never seen my son day in his life, but yeah, oh, your son, like grown ass man talk about a little 4-year-old. They never see them. A grown man is getting on a 4-year-old because he is a liar when it comes to Africans' role in selling us to white people. He's gonna talk about a 4-year-old. So I said, you know what? Thank you for saying it. You cannot just get the blocking because I was going to entertain you one more time, not my channel. I said the channel we were on. I was going to entertain him and beat him up real fast, but not my channel. He's not going to waste no time on my channel. So I said, good. You gave me a reason to block you and ignore you forever. Good. Now go away. Okay. So after we were sold in the millions, 12 to 15 million, all right, to Europeans. Okay, so that started the diaspora. We were dropped off during the diaspora. Out of 12 to 15 million, only 385,000, around that much, were sent to America. That's it. And guess what? Some didn't stay in America. So the slave ships, when they came to America, not everybody who got off the slave ships qualifies as FBA. You know why? Because some of them got shipped out they stopped here and got back on another boat and went to the islands or went to Brazil somewhere, okay? And they became that. The ones who remained here and went through U.S. chattel slavery, that is the start of the conversation of being FBA. Okay, so if somebody was truly here and people were here when we got here, if they didn't experience U.S. chattel slavery, they're not FBA. They're just who they are, right? That's all. They're our pals. They're our allies, I guess. But that's it. They're not FBA. So if somebody want to say they were already here and they didn't experience chattel slavery, hey, fine. You're not FBA. You are exactly who you say you are. No different than a Jamaican or Haitian or Kenyan, Irish person. Okay, let's go further. So the ones who got thrown into U.S. chattel slavery, it wouldn't matter if it was those who came off the slave ships, those who were already here, or some aliens that fell out of a UFO. If they all experienced U.S. chattel slavery, right, and were either emancipated or freed, one of 4 ways, they got bought out of slavery, became a free black. The term is free blacks, by the way. The term is not free Africans. Hello? The ones who were bought out of slavery or got out of slavery but were not emancipated, these folks were not called freed Africans or you African booty scratchers. They were called free blacks in history. Okay? So you were bought out of slavery, you bought yourself out of slavery, you were born free, born out of slavery. So I'm saying bought, B-O-U-G-H-T, bought out of slavery by somebody else. You bought yourself out of slavery. You were born out of slavery. You were not enslaved when you were born free, or through meritorious manumission. Maybe some good acts. Slave master felt like, all right, bro, you did enough. Let you free. Or maybe you snitched on somebody else, but that's all meritorious manumission. One of those 4 ways you could have shortened your slavery, a little earlier, prior to Emancipation Proclamation. But they're called free blacks in history. They're not called free Africans. So take that mental note. Okay, going further. These people, again, became free blacks, and others, the majority, were enslaved on a plantation somewhere in the South, even though there was a nice number in up north. It was nice. It was a nice number. It was a nice number up north somewhere. You feel me? Okay, so those free blacks, some of them wanted to leave the country. They thought it was better somewhere else. So some of them went to Sierra Leone, just different parts of Africa. They did. That's what they did. They felt like it'd be different over there somehow, and they learned very fast. These guys are compromised. These guys signed treaties. They validated white supremacy. All right. So of course, a lot of them returned. At the same time, you had the ACS going on, the American Colonization Society. Yes, they had a colony in Africa and Liberia, right? They bought it. And in their mind, they felt like free blacks were going to be a headache. Because they're out here buying property, they're out here living, living big during the height of slavery, living big. And they feel like, hey, these guys are going to be asking for rights, citizenship, all type of stuff. So let's go ahead and like they can already feel that they're also inciting just their presence of being free around enslaved people. They're inciting those enslaved people to not want to be enslaved anymore. So a possible rebellion. By the way, it was about 300,000 to 400,000 free blacks. Yeah, that number. I didn't stutter. 300,000 to 400,000 free blacks at that time. Okay. All right. So with that being said, they so now the ACS, they said, okay, we're gonna ship these free blacks to Liberia. Since this colony, we're gonna act like it is so beautiful, it's the promised land, this is your freedom. We're gonna paint this narrative that this is the next step, but it won't be in this country. Right. So obviously out of the 300, 400,000 free blacks, they were not buying it. So what the ACS did was they said, all right, well, look, if the free blacks don't want to go, what we're going to do is we're going to help not help, but we're going to free other enslaved blacks from plantations, but on one condition, that they go to Liberia. Otherwise, they stay enslaved on the plantation. So, of course, some slaves like, hey, I don't want to be on a plantation no more. Big Liberia, okay, sounds great. Let me see the brochure. Looks great. All right, of course, if they paint a picture that it was, like kind of like Marcus Garvey saying he's going to ship people to Liberia with these fancy big old cruise ships. So they were very unsuccessful in what they set out to do. Out of 300,000 and 400,000 free blacks, they were only able to ship to Liberia about 12,000. That's a very tiny number compared to 300,000, 400,000, right? So they started to war with the natives there. They went there, obviously the ACS was like putting the Americo-Liberians, they were called at that time. They started to put them in position of leadership, things like that, purposely trying to stir up some issues there, which worked. So they started to have beef with the natives. They tried to do some Hutus, Tutsi, Rwanda genocide thing there. It didn't get that message, but they did have some fallout. So now we have the Civil War approaching, right? So all of those free blacks, not all, but a lot of the free blacks who left the country to go find some residence in Africa because they believed the grass was greener until they got there. They realized, oh, these guys colonized, compromised, and worse. Because these guys got a white supremacist mindset, right? Anyway, once word got back to them that the Civil War will indeed happen, and there's a chance to fight for your freedom and citizenship, all those fake Pan-African, all going to the motherland, not all, but a large majority brought their butt right back over here to fight for citizenship. and liberty, emancipation, to be emancipated. Okay. So now those free blacks were free, but they were not emancipated. What's the difference between an emancipated black and a free black? A free black still don't have rights, still don't have citizenship. He's still not seen as an American. An emancipated black, that person is protected under the Constitution, at least on paper. So they become a full American, a full citizen. That's the difference between a free black who freed themselves or got freed or married to his manumission, and were no longer enslaved, from an emancipated black. The 1865. So history tells you that we helped fight the war. We kicked the Confederates ass, the South ass, and we became emancipated. We were free. Okay. Now from there we had Black Reconstruction, not African Reconstruction, not African American Reconstruction. That period when we start to put ourselves in the position of mayors, governors, congressmen, congresswomen, we were seen as, or that period was called Black Reconstruction. So stay with me. Free blacks, Black Reconstruction. Or you keep hearing in the beginning, black, 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 black. Okay. So now on paper and legally, we would call it Negroes of color. All right. So after that, KKK rolls up. Shortly after that, ended Black Reconstruction, and now we have the system of Jim Crow. 100 years of that, a lot of bull crap came out of that, and now we're in post-integration, or post-Jim Crow now, 1968. Okay, now that 1968 period that became post-Jim Crow, that is known as the Black Civil Rights period, not the African American Civil Rights period or movement or act. Okay, that's known as the Black Civil Rights movement. Right? Following so far? Malcolm X. Black man, black man, black man. Dr. King said he's proud to be black. So now black is taking on positive attributes. Okay? No longer the black is bad, evil, black magic, voodoo, and all that type of stuff. Superstition is taking on positive attributes. Okay, black and beautiful, black and proud, James Brown. Black power, Stokely Carmichael. Black American heritage flag, Marvin Charles, in 1967. You see, so the Black American heritage flag even came up during that time in the 1960s. Everybody, black, 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 black. And a little bit earlier than that, you had the Black Renaissance, not the African American Renaissance, the Black Renaissance. Okay, you had Black banks, you had Black Wall Street. I recall W.E. Du Bois writing a book called "The Souls of Black Folk." Not the souls of Africans, or not the souls of African Americans, but the souls of Black folk. Black, biggity black, liggity, bliggity, bliggity black. Okay, all day long. That was the language. And then in 1970, the government took black and made it the racialized term for us when it comes to collecting data for the Census Bureau, all type of stuff. They had us down officially as black on paper in 1970. Okay. All right. Let me see what I put some notes. You see if I missed anything. This is all off the top. I didn't miss anything. But let me just say, the NOI, the Nation of Islam, they were known as the Black Muslims, not as the African Muslims or the African American Muslims. The Nation of Islam were called the Black Muslims. Okay. Give me a sec. I'm making some coffee. Give me a second. Give me a second. You dig? Cash App, $, unbiased Ron. This is why they don't call it. Nobody can put it together this neatly, okay? Or at least you never heard it put together this neatly before. Let me read some chat. Let me see what's going on in the chat world. Okay? Exactly, Mo. Black with a capital B, not black with a lowercase b. Put some respect on the name. Proper noun black. Give me a second to fix my coffee. And then we'll continue shortly. We put my Cash App in there for anybody who's feeling what we got going on right now. Because I know for a fact it was never put together like this before. And I made it so simple too to follow. Yeah. I didn't make it all deep where it miss you, sound all smart. Okay, so now what happened? So now this 1960 period to 1970, 30 years after we said we're black, 30 years after that, black is tied to so many positive things, so many accomplishments, so many wins. Like again, the Black Civil Rights Movement, that's a big win. Black Wall Street was phenomenal, right? Something that's recorded in history. So black is tied to so many victories, so many great things, unmatchable things that make us so great, separate from everybody else in the world. Our greatness is separate from everybody else in the world. Jesse Jackson, 30 years later, urged white people, not black people, white people to replace, not add, listen to my language, not add African American along with black, which is still stupid, but to replace black. Black is tied to all these great things I talked about. Free blacks, Black Wall Street, Black Renaissance in Harlem, Black love, but all this black, right? Black Civil Rights Movement, all this great stuff black is tied to, attached to, married to. Jesse Jackson urges white people to replace black with African American, and nothing is tied to it. And by the way, this is at the height. This is when this is at the height of the crack epidemic. So he wants to replace black out of nowhere with African American at the height of the crack epidemic. This is 1988, 1990, by the way. So the question that you should ask people, why was it necessary to bring an African American to replace black? After all, it's a new term. It's a new word. Don't they say that to us? Don't they say, hey, that's a new word. We don't need a new word. Well, why did you introduce African American? We didn't need a new word, right? Let's keep the same smoke. As a matter of fact, we're not introducing a new word. We are reintroducing an old word, black. So what we're doing is we're arming it this time where it can no longer be replaced. Black by itself was left negative. Now we're arming black with foundational and DAS, Foundation Black American, Descendants of Slaves. We're arming it where it no longer can be replaced. Hold on as I make this call. You're witnessing why they'll talk about me, but won't click that link. Now, there's no link to click tonight. I'm not talking about tonight. There's no link tonight. Yeah, after this was a quick live. So there's no link after today. I mean, there's no link for today's live. Okay? I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about when I normally put it out there for challenges. This is why they don't click it. Because I'm armed with information like this off the top of the head. I don't need to Google, ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, off the top. I brought you all the way from Africa, being sold all the way to 1990. So again, the question is, why would Jesse Jackson want to replace such a beautiful term that's tied to so many historical W's? Why would you want to get rid of that for a new word that has no history behind it? And now, going forward, looking backwards, what is tied to African Americans? The crack epidemic, 94 crime bill, mass incarceration, food to prison pipeline. Like, what positive is attached to these words? So that's why people like myself look at this as a deliberate op move. And anybody who's out there championing this word over black is on board that op, that operation. You do it. There's no need to replace a beautiful term. Like, we're black and beautiful. When did we ever say we're African American and beautiful? We're African and beautiful. When did we ever say that? Out of nowhere. Nobody was calling for it. Out of nowhere. This dude, and guess who hopped on with this? George Bush. George Herbert Bush said in a 1989 eulogy, a year later, he said, yeah, this is a good term. George Bush. You got Republicans, you got Democrats, you got the liberal media, Jewish media, everybody is on board with this word, African American family, in just 1 year. FBA Adolf, we're 8 years in. And we got a lot of work to do. With the help of liberal news and Republican news families, we were African American in 1 year. If that ain't crazy, I don't know what it is. Okay, so then about less than 10 years after Jesse Jackson urged us to become African American, so we were still in the census. We were African American on the census. We were still black. So now look what happened. Now keep in mind, let's look at the dates. 1990, we have the crack epidemic booming. We got this new term African American, and isn't this the time where Afro immigrants start to influx the country in large waves? So they come at the right time. They don't come in when we're just black and they got to be who they are from their homeland. They come at this country at the right time when this African American word is produced. Now all of a sudden, an influx of Afro immigrants come to America. Okay, I don't like to believe that was just some wild coincidence. I like to believe that was the game plan, right? That is what I believe. Now, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. One second. Okay. Give me a second. I'm back. Okay. I got some. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right, let's get back to it. So, okay, so now history bear record of this, right? So now a large wave of immigrants come at the same time this African American word is introduced to us, okay? Now, what is the problem with this word? This word became a huge problem because these recent immigrants that are Afro immigrants are attached to this word from these Census Bureau forms, okay? So they're coming over here, Jamaican, Trinidadian, West African, Nigerian, Kenya. But when they fill out the forms, there's no Kenyan on the form. There's no tether on the form. You dig? You have to fill out Black African American. So now what happens after a while, family? What happens after time? What happens after you fill out this box over and over and over, 10, 15 years, you're gonna now believe you're that. You're gonna attach yourself to that word outside of the form. You did, like you're gonna attach yourself to that form to that word outside the form. You're gonna see yourself as an African American. Okay, and the word took on, obviously, to cover them, it took on a dual usage, which caused problems and caused confusion, right? So you got people, you got recent immigrants saying they're African American, and you got foundational Black Americans saying they're African Americans. All right. So now we're looking at each other and we know we're not the same. We're like, okay, we're totally different. So I can't be one if you're one. And they're saying we can't be one if they're one. So this is causing confusion. You cannot have an ethnonym that has a dual usage. Ethnonyms are very clear, very specific, very particular. When you say Haitian, you say Kenyan, when you say Irish, when you say German, you're not confused on who's being talked about. Ethnonyms are not supposed to be confusing, and it's supposed to be clear cut who it's addressing. So we're not bringing nothing new, people. We're bringing back something old that was there first. We're bringing back Black. We're just making it more armed so it can never be replaced by another confusing term ever again to undermine and sabotage. So we're bringing Black back. We're bringing Black back, but we're dressing it up. We're giving it armor. We're giving it armor, a sword, and a shield. That's what we're doing. And that armor, sword, and shield, foundational Black American descendants of slaves. Okay? You see? Are you foundational? Yeah. Are you Black? Yeah. Are you American? Yes. Are you a descendant of slavery? Yes. Okay. You're FBA DOS. That's a fact. Now, I already showed videos where before there were such terms to call us, right? Before we actually delineated, it was hard to delineate us from recent immigrants, Afro immigrants, because we called ourselves the same thing. So the term that they would use to separate us from the recent Afro immigrants, they would use Black somehow. They'll say that, and then somehow everybody knows what we're talking about. Or at times they'll just say DOS. They'll just say he's not a descendant of slavery. Or they'll say, okay, this guy is a descendant of slavery. And that was the way to speak to us or not to speak to us. And you wanted to be specific and get down to the nitty-gritty. Okay? So now, Stokely Michael is championed to coin the term Black Power, right? And we overpraised them. So did Tethers. Now, following up on Stokely Carmichael, did you know he left the Black Power bandwagon and hopped on the African American bandwagon? Yes, he did. He hopped off all that blackity black talk, you know, Tariq called him the yo, yo, yo. You know, you got the yo, yo, yo white boys, you got the blackity black Afro immigrants. So he was a blackity black. Okay, all that blackity black stuff. Now all of a sudden, Yeah, African American seem okay with me. He started talking that tether talk, talking about we're Africans in America. We're not American, and we need to fight the system of capitalism and change it to a socialist system. And we need to change the world. That's how he started talking in 1989 to be exact. And of course, he got cooked by two foundations of Black American men. Like, nah, bro, you tripping. So I address who's Black, foundational Black Americans, who's not, everybody who's not foundational Black American, and I address who's FBA, those who went through U.S. chattel slavery. If you came over here in a slave ship and you got sent off somewhere else and you didn't experience U.S. chattel slavery, you're not FBA. If you were already here and somehow you avoided U.S. chattel slavery, you're not FBA. Now, U.S. chattel slavery is the start. It's not the end all be all. There's other requirements, okay? There's other requirements that I would get into another day. Right now, I'm just giving you an overall, a rough draft of the overall, okay? Overall of the rough draft. The rough draft. You dig it? Is there any confusion? Is there any questions from the chat? My fault. Okay, so now everything I said just now, what can be refuted? What can be debated? I gave you pinpoint, precise history. This is why they don't call and click that link. I left no room for a debate. I left no room for concerns and questions. I gave you flat out history. I said FBA is not a new term. We're just taking an old term and putting it back in the forefront. We're getting rid of the new term. The new term is African American. Black was already here. Okay? That's what we're doing. And I know, well, I'm learning. I'm a strong voice in this space because I see how I'm being greeted by tethers and Pan-Africans when I'm in these chats that's led by them. Like, you would think they wouldn't even know who I am. And then I go in there and they start getting on me right away. And then, all right, so anybody that would love a replay, want to hear this again, tune in tomorrow. You dig? I'm out. Quick, easy one. B1, we won, family. Watching these tethers. No, you guys, whatever media you're talking about that brainwashes them to hate us, they are voluntarily casting that amongst the entire country. The continent for that matter. But yeah, there's no projection from outer space that's blast onto Africa where they're forced to watch that. Okay, whatever you're talking about, they wanted to play that. They wanted to believe that. They wanted to watch that.
In the media over there, you really don't, because we don't do any grand scale things that would garner international attention that's negative. You understand? We don't have no. Go ahead.
Like, for instance, when I was teaching in Kazakhstan, I was there for 7 years, and you would see pictures, videos of, Black women twerking and doing all that kind of stuff. And it's on the television. So in the minds of those people, that's how they see.
Yeah, I got a little stronger pushback. Ma'am, what television company is doing that? And what country is allowing that? What president is allowing that? Stop. Peachtree Ministries, $20. 1999, actually. Super chat, lineage, love, and building. Appreciate you. Said that. Thanks for your work. Oh, definitely. I'm on it. Exposing Africans and Pan-Africans. Both are booty scratchers.
Black women. And I recall the first city that I was teaching in, I was the only Black woman in that city of 130,000 people. And so when men would see me, that's the image that they would have in their minds, even though that's the farthest thing. I mean, by that time I was in my mid-50s. But that's the attitude, but that shapes their attitudes, you see? And so there is that impact, and it's happening globally. So I was just curious as to, how these notions get there. And I don't understand how these people in such small numbers are able to undermine us without white complicity.
Yeah. I mean, this come around in cosplay and just coming our circles, dissipating the energy, and not all of them, but just enough. Getting into certain organizations like the Congressional Black Caucus, which don't do a damn thing for foundational Black Americans at all, but they do a whole bunch of stuff for immigrants. So that's a problem. They come around us talking about minority coalition, and then we elect these people, and then they get in and don't do anything for us, but do something for immigrant groups. Just like Kamala Harris. Hell, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama. Barack Obama's non-FBA. Kamala Harris, non-FBA. Those are great examples of how people get in certain positions and they undermine us and do the whole benign neglect against us. And that is a problem. So we don't want none of these non-FBAs to act as our representatives. We realize that these people are horrible representatives of us. They're not going to represent us properly. They're not going to honor our ancestors. So this is why the delineation movement has popped off. It's our job to honor our ancestors. It's our job to make sure the people of our lineage get the correct justice and the compensatory justice, especially when it comes to resources, because nobody else is going to do it, because we sat up here and we tried to play the kumbaya role. Nothing has worked out as far as that. So we're going to have to take control of that. And that's exactly what we're doing. Let me ask you this, beloved. You're married, right?
How do we get them to change their behavior without us, publicly tearing each other apart? Because it seems like there are a lot of people who just really, that's all they do.
Look, we're not interested in changing their behavior, which is delineating. They could do what they want to do. You dig?
Because it seems like there are a lot of people who just really, that's all they do.
We don't give a damn. At this point, we don't give a damn. We're focusing on us. What we want them to do, go fix your homeland. If you got any kind of hostility, go figure. Myron Gaines, all these people who come over here denigrating us. We ain't gonna do nothing with a Myron Gaines. I don't want you to do nothing but get your ass back to the Sudan, help your people. We're at the point, anybody who's remotely hostile to us, we don't want nothing to do with them. We ain't got to negotiate with them because we don't need them. That's the thing. And that's what they are tripping out about. They realize that we don't need them. You don't really benefit us at all. We don't need them.
Yes, she's going to highlight it. This is what I'm trying to say, like, bro, you got to slow down, bro. Like, you need people to vet your stuff, bro. You out here making a fool of yourself. Now, look, I could say, hey, you gotta check your mans. I could hold you to somebody else. And that's all I'm asking. No, I should not be held to somebody else's research.
No, but I can tell you when I disagree with them niggas. It ain't like I don't argue with them. You feel me? And if they say something that I disagree with, I'm on that biscuit.
Yeah, but it's it. But y'all channel is based on that though. So you expect a channel that's birthed by that to do that. But other channels that just trying to keep the peace. Like, hey, all right, whatever you get into, that's what you into. And but so there's a greater goal.
Right, but you might not be familiar. Me and Unc beef for 3 months over African slavery and the slave trade. We beef for like 3 months.
What? Yo, just give me a quick rundown. Like, what could possibly be the beef on that? Like, I do think that's common history.
They were trying to say that Africans did not practice slavery. You dig what I'm saying?
The homies are fake. Queen and Zinga, all these guys never existed.
Exactamundo. So we differed on that big time. You know, half of the stuff that you argue about Africans selling us to the European, we went through all of that. They fought me down tooth and nail. So I'm not, only beef that I have is with that ABO stuff. Like, it is not, that's not cogent. That don't go with nothing. Like, you know, and I'm not a Pan-African. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? Like we differ over there. Like, but I'm not even over there. I just popped up because of the conversation. So, you dig what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff that they argue with me. Chief X, and a couple other dudes came on and argued with me when I was saying, yo, I can accept the FBA term, long as it's not dealing with the ABO stuff. They went crazy on me. The same way Dr. Mayat said, yo, in one sense, I am FBA. But she said, I don't agree with the ABO part. And that we was here before Columbus and stuff. Like, that's the part that most of us had the disagreement with.
And this is why we say, and people act like they deaf. We're saying that's not a requirement to be FBA. And people act like we're not saying that, and they know that. You could just Wikipedia, ChatGPT. I mean, you guys use these resources when it benefits you, but when it doesn't, nobody want to Wikipedia, Google AI. Nobody want to do that no more. Everybody want to rely on their own ignorance. It's like, dude, but I get it though. Like people hate certain groups or certain individuals, and they want to, because people claim the same thing, everybody's grouped in. And that's why I got some questions for those that would like to click that.
Who came up with FBA?
Tariq Nasheed.
So this is what they're basing it off of.
Okay. Now, and who came up with ADOS?
Yvette Carnell and
So is she the leader? Is she the leader?
I don't know.
Right. See, it's stupid. It's goofy. And then you got Jesse Jackson with African American. You got Melvin Charles with the Black American Heritage flag. Like that. No, an idea. It's an idea. You say, I like that idea. That makes sense. I'm rolling with that.
But it don't make him the leader.
Over an idea?
It don't make Jesse Jackson the leader of all African Americans. I agree.
Right. So when people argue, again, they could just Google, Wiki, all that stuff. They don't want to do it because they want to be right, but they're on the wrong side of history, and they get cooked on these panels. The Wannabes and myself and ex-architect, like they die on these panels because they will hold that position, and we know how to articulate and express those ideas very well. So you're not getting over it. Ain't no flim flam. That's not gonna work. An idea, and you take an idea, don't mean that you're the leader. Like a lot of us sag our pants. We just a certain way because it smells idea. We say cat. We say no cat. That's my idea. You're nobody leader. So you have a good idea, and sometimes you take the idea and do it better than them. Our culture is inventors and innovators. Okay, we're some of the best innovators in history. Yeah, we're innovators. So we hear something, we like it, we tweak it, and it's ours. And we believe we make it better and more fitting. Okay. So let's play the video real fast.
And this is why when you and I were arguing on the telephone, so I want the family to know, and maybe the people who are just watching us don't know, that a lot of these conversations that we have publicly are birthed from arguments that Ankh and I have behind closed doors. This is why when you and I talked, I said, Ankh, you don't think we should throw the term African American away? No, we shouldn't throw it away. I said, Ankh, it is not specific to our lineage here in America. Anybody that comes over here who's a descendant who is of African,
you sound like you
claim to be an African American.
Then she went back to call herself African American. You did. So I'm saying, like, listen, bro. I went back and watched.
Like you right there.
I went back and watched all of it. I do that. I go back and watch 2-3 hours of something, clip it up, and be ready to cook somebody. So I got her. That's why she won't call in. I got her. Stuff like this. I'm waiting on her. But she just said it. Now look, Unc's doing a presentation. Watch this.
This is why I said I do believe that we should have a name that is specifically for us.
So by saying that, she don't believe African American is specifically for us.
Black immigrants cannot come into the country and hijack. And
so she's delineating. All right. How long ago is this? This is 9 months ago. Let me let you see. 9 months ago, she sounded like us. All right. This is why people be like, yo, the agents. They're getting paid. Like something going on here. Because she reverse pivoted, never came back and corrected this, just reverse pivot. And then you get mad at Lex for saying he changed his mind, but she changed her mind.
Were appalled. You were like, no. African American, they know who's who, and they, you went through all that. But in your slide, these two bullets talk about exactly what I was arguing on the telephone that day. But please continue.
I know I'm sharp as a harp, though. Let me
Hey, yeah, do you know he didn't finish though? Look, let me fast forward. Hold on.
She cooked them right there. That's crazy. Status, contemporary African American is a broad identity.
Right. So look, so he got Freeman up here. All right, look. Exactly what I said. Broad identity for all people. I said what I say. It's actually called POAD. It's POAD. Like the African Union calls it People of African Descent. POAD. Okay, freedmen, specific descendants of enslaved Africans in the United States. We call this FBA, ADOS, and other names people want to use for that. So what I'm saying is to take away from this phone call, it doesn't matter what you name yourself because the people exist. Name changes, name goes, they get tweaked, but the people don't go. The people are here. You could call them Ninja Turtles. They're still here. They have a history and a legacy here. They did something as a collective. So the name, people argue the names like, yo, you won't get anywhere because our name is colored, Negro, Afro-American, Black American, Black, Black American, and things like that. You feel me? And now it's African American, I guess, all over again.
For all people of African descent in the U.S.
That's
now,
what I was trying to tell you.
Of course, linked to post-emancipation legal status.
So he's reading his own obituary.
How did he get out of this?
I don't think he ended up playing the whole thing, if I can remember. But he's reading his own obituary like Marcus Garvey. I don't know if he knows that, if you knew that, but Marcus Garvey read his own obituary. They did him dirty in London. Yeah, he's in the hospital dying, and they wrote he already dead. He already died, and he had to read that on his deathbed. Crazy work.
Reconstruction, cultural and ethnic identity encompasses historical and modern experiences, and these are the sources: National Archives and Records Administration, Smithsonian African History. That
did you change your position?
No, I didn't. I'm still the same.
She comprehended what you comprehended, what the chat comprehended, all together at the same time. Like, dude, you just cooked yourself, and he said, "I'm not changing my position." All right. So, Chef, I was going to say this to you.
Right.
So the Abos, right? So they have a belief. I think that they were. This is what I know for sure, that they believe that they were always here, and they didn't come on slave ships. It happened backwards, right? They sent people to Europe, something like that. Is that or Africa, something like that, right? Or am I wrong?
They have multiple different beliefs, but that's one of them.
Right. But do they all agree on that they did not come on slave ships?
No, I don't think that's the total belief. I think some of them say some black people did come on slave ships, but some of them say my people didn't because I can't find that in my lineage. So it's a whole bunch of, you know what I mean? It depends on which one you're talking to. But the general belief is that they are indigenous to the Americas, right? And so that's the general belief. And it's mixed up. It's different beliefs all in there, but the consensus of what I've seen that they believe is that the misnomer African Americans are, native to America, and they was always here. You know what I mean? Came before Columbus, that type of shit.
Okay, so Tariq on his website have an origin story, right? He got origin stories of how people got here and were already here. So from what I know, he said some people were already here.
Mm-hmm.
Some people came on slave ships, right? And then some of the people that are already here admixed with the people from slave ships, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some people believe that, right? Now that's a personal belief. That has nothing to do with an ethnogenesis that happened in America, because that's a fact. That's something that happened with real people. Now, belief is separate. People can believe they came from Planet Risk. Doesn't matter. So what I would say is this: you will argue that a lot of them they were not always here. They came on what, slave ships, something like that.
Yes, the transatlantic slave trade.
Got it. So now, if a requirement to be FBA is to come on through those slave ships to this country and experience chattel slavery, Jim Crow, Black Reconstruction, and those people experience that, even though they believe they didn't, aren't they still FBA?
Yeah, they would still be a part of the group. No matter.
That's why I don't argue it.
You could be in the Nation of Islam and
Okay.
believe you Asiatic black man.
All right. So, but that's why I don't have to argue, because like, yo, either way, whether you're true or either you're wrong or right, you're still FBA. So that's how I came to that. Like, you know, why I'm debating about that. My thing is to galvanize people within the lineage. So your personal beliefs, it's nothing over here. Are you FBA? That's it. And I tell them that. Oh, I've always been here, bro. I get that. Are you FBA? And once you say no, you're done. You know, you got to move around. Okay.
See, I know I get you, but I argue that I'm FBA, but I make a clear distinction that I ain't got nothing to do with that Abo mess. Like, and
that's fine.
That's the thing. You feel me? Like, if you ask Uncle and then they beef with me over that, I say, yo, why wouldn't I be FBA? The same way Dr. Mayat said that she was FBA or a couple shows ago, according to the definition, right? Not the Abo definition, but the other definition, you feel me? She said it. Even James Small said he was FBA. You feel me? According to the definition, you feel me? But he agreed to all of the definitions. He crazy. You feel me? He agreed that he a Abo, he a African, he's an African American. Bro, like, yeah, it's time for them to sit him down. Like, period. Like, it's nonsense, but he agreed. You know what I mean? So.
All right. Because like it's either you fall into that definition, or you don't. And Tariq Nasheed, FBA, people should know that Tariq, he believed that was a more clear and concise definition for the lineage than Adolf. Right. That was his reason why he came with FBA. He felt like Adolf still allows, whether it's true or not. That's what he said. He said he believed Adolf still allowed immigrants to sneak in the back door. All right. But both requirements are damn near identical on how you're, part of. That's why I just say the lineage. So just to be clear. Okay, so I got that out. Okay, so now let me play the discussion between me and Unc and the slave trades. Okay, so now he said,
"Are y'all going to debate this?"
We already did. I'm recording for doing that. But he in the chat, and matter of fact, he was on a panel with, I told him, he was on a panel with Dr. Mayat, and she even said that the Africans enslaved, raided other Africans and it's sold them to white folks. She even said he was there on the panel. He didn't argue her, and that was by the way, that was before my discussion with him. So he already learned that and still kicked against the pricks.
Bro, man, him argued that 2.5 years ago. I mean, for 3 months straight, we argued about the Africans' participation in slavery. Like, he fought tooth and nail, but I thought we got some clarity on that. He not gonna accept it, yo. Like, that's obviously. I mean, we broke up the pseudo killers. Man, Corey left over that argument. You feel me? Because it was so out. Like, I thought he was already. I thought he was straight on that part. You dig what I'm saying? That's
all right. So when people say, "Hey, man, you to hold people accountable to what they say," people I don't know, and no big deal to me. And this is people right hands mans. You dig? They clicking that. You know what I mean? This guy out here acting as a leader can't yield to correct information, and then will brag about how scientific literate he is. Like, I challenge that. I think you just say it.
Yeah, but you already said what your aim is. For me, whether it's Reggie, Unc, Smash, whatever, I argue with everybody. If I have a disagreement with them over something, then we gonna bang it out. If I got a disagreement with you on something, you know what I mean? That's just what it's gonna be. I'm gonna state my disagreement with you. Like, you know what I mean? So you never seen me, you know what I mean, in any platform where I disagree, where I'm not gonna make my disagreement known with you. Like, that's just how it's the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do that. So
Right. And that's why I said,
go ahead.
That's why I said going forward, I want people to challenge me on what I said. Not somebody, not that for me, 2026, don't ask me about nobody else. I mean, not you. I'm saying this is for everybody out there. Because people want a low-key indirect win. No, challenge me on what I say. I have a whole different thought about this than Tariq. Tariq calls other folks black. I don't. I say we're the only blacks. Everybody else is not, and there's something else. They're from their court, they're from their country, their tribe, and I go into the history of exonyms, endonyms, ethnonyms. I go into all that. You know what people called you and what you called yourself, and temporary terms, and and then we got the black is being used as an adjective. We say, well, which one of these guys use black as a proper noun with a capital B? So I call it capital B, lowercase b, or big B, little b. Like, which black are you? Big B or little B?
So they little B's.
All of them. The only big B started over here. Now that's because an exonym is somebody else calling you that. So the Arabs called the Sudanese people Balad al-Sudan. That means black. That means someone else called you that. That's an exonym. They didn't call themselves that. They call themselves Sudanese people. So that's an exonym. So we're the only people. So now at one point, Arabs.
So now they call themselves Sudanese, though.
Yeah,
so what do you do about that?
No, but they don't call themselves Balad al-Sudan. Like that, you got that whole thing is the black. See, that is called the black Sudanese. Yeah. So, but somebody called them that. They already had a name for themselves prior to that calling.
Yeah, but now they identify as black with the name Sudan.
Nah, Sudan is a country in Africa, and that has nothing to do with an ethno. It's nothing to do with them. Like, there's if I type in Sudan right now, it's going to give you a definition. Okay, it ain't going to say what you just said. It's going to have its own definition of why that place is called Sudan.
So why is it called the Sudan?
Let's look it up. So now, look at it. Officially, the Republic of the Sudan is a country in Northeast Africa. Its borders the Central African Republic to the southwest, Chad to the west, Libya to the northwest, Egypt. Just click the Wikipedia.
So what are you saying is not? You saying that the word Sudan for the country Sudan don't have nothing to do with the people being black?
When you say black, you're talking about see, here we go. Big B, little B.
If it's an Arabic term, Balad as Sudan, meaning
color black.
Yeah,
that means color. Right. That's different then, because we don't call ourselves black as a color.
Right. So, but you're saying that the word Sudan for the Republic of the Sudan don't have no connection with the Arabic term black.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That was talking about the people.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're using black as a descriptive term, you're out. Bro, I'm light as hell. I'm not black because I'm dark skinned. I'm not black because of a color, bro. I'm black because of experience. We didn't use black as a color in America. We use black as an experience. So that's why it's a proper noun in America. And they wrote it's an adjective. Adjectives are not capitalized. Proper nouns are. So that's the distinction. Proper nouns are not adjectives, and adjectives are not proper nouns. Adjectives describe, proper nouns are people, places, and things. Right. But that's like a capital of a city, a name. That's why it's a proper noun. It's more important than a regular noun. You got to give it its capitalization. It demands that. So we don't use black as a descriptor. They did. Well, somebody else did when they called them that.
Okay, go ahead, make your point. What
Yeah,
you about to
that is. So what I'm going to tell you is that Black Americans are the only people who use black as an ethnonym.
Okay.
Everybody else uses it as a descriptor, and it's a temporary name before they name themselves something else.
But so the black didn't have nothing to do with the descriptor at first?
Yeah. So when it comes to us, white folks, and look, thank you, because we're the only people on earth to turn an exonym into an ethnonym. There's nobody else that did that. Everybody's rejected. When the Arabs called Sudanese black, they rejected that. When white folks call other people black, they rejected that.
But why is their country named the Sudan now?
We're looking at it.
Right. Like,
look at it.
I think it's the same thing that you just explained about African Americans. Go ahead.
Because you're talking about a land. Okay, you just said a country is called Sudan. That's a geographical area and land. And people call themselves after that land. So they said, that's Sudan, I'm Sudanese.
Right, but what does the Sudan mean?
That's where we're going. Okay, etymology, here we go. Okay, so North Sudan redirects, okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The country's name Sudan is a name given historically to the large Sahel region of West Africa to the immediate west of modern day Sudan. Historically, Sudan referred to both the geographical region, stretching from Senegal says a place, bro. It's no damn color. And so stretching from Senegal on the Atlantic coast to Northeast Africa and the modern Sudan. Okay, so now watch this. The name derives from the Arabic, so okay, watch this. The name derives from the Arabic Balad as Sudan, as I said earlier, or the land of blacks.
Right.
Color, descriptive, right, color, descriptive. They're done.
I was saying the same thing. I'm biased.
No, they're calling themselves the color. We didn't call ourselves. Okay, listen. White folks called us black. We didn't call ourselves black as a color. We called ourselves black as an ethnonym. I think you keep missing that. When they were called black. Okay, cool.
I'm missing that. I think the same thing was happening, but go ahead.
Nah. Yeah, because whatever. All right, look. Now I'm trying to explain it. I can go to some tools for you where it could be articulated for both of us. So let me do that for you right now. I got you. Let's go to the tiebreaker. I'm explaining it. You claim you're not getting it. Okay, cool.
Let's go to the tiebreaker. If black was put on them, black was put on us.
Yeah, but we changed. Okay,
hold on. As a descriptor.
Hold on. First. Yeah, but we didn't receive it. Okay, they received it as a descriptor. We didn't receive. Okay, family. I don't know. I'm doing this guy. They were called black as a color. They accepted the term as a color. We never accepted black as a color. We rejected it. Then we started to call ourselves black during the 1950s and 60s, but it wasn't based on the color. We called ourselves black as an experience. We were first called black in the 1800s, 1700s. We were called black around that time. I think the British, whatever, is calling us black as a disgrace to try to play us out like most black people, most people of color throughout the world. But we never embraced it. Most people rejected it. So they embraced it as a color. We rejected the color. We then took it some 100, 200 years later and said, we're black. We were called Negro in color, but when we named ourselves, we didn't name ourselves Negro. We didn't name ourselves color. When we finally named ourselves, it was black and it wasn't based on color. Like they call themselves black on color. We called ourselves black through experiences, a unique, distinctive experience throughout America, throughout the world. So we didn't say we're black because we're dark skinned, broad nose, thick lips. That's not what we said while we were black. It still don't make sense.
I mean, it does, but I'd rather not even go down that. I think you can argue that either way you want to.
No, you can't.
No,
You
take
can't.
your way. If that's how you like, because
right.
if it started for me, if all of them was the script.
But you're not understanding language. Okay, I got it. But you don't. Obviously, you don't know what an endonym, ethnonym, like that's something you got to look into. Take what I'm saying right now. Take this. Go type it in. After you get off, go type it in. Whatever tools you got, and then come back to me and tell me what you got. That's all. Like so now you haven't studied it. I got it. This is the language. It's a grammar thing. Go do that, and then come back and talk to me. And they say I'm biased. You're right. I kind of, that's all you gotta do. But yeah. So we're the only black people in the world. Everybody else is what they say they are. They're Sudanese. That's what they are. I'm black. Nice to meet you. This guy's Jamaican. This guy's Moroccan. This guy's Libyan. That's how that works. We're black. BLACK. They're Sudanese. And black is used as a race in America, like outside of how we use it. So when they're black, it's still not something called themselves. That's the group they're thrown into when they come to America. They're still Sudanese people under the racial term black. We're just black. There's no something else there. So we're black as a race. We're black as an ethnonym. So they're what? Black as a race, but Sudanese as an ethnonym? How does that work? So we're black as both race and ethnonym. They're not. They're done.
That's crazy.
Yeah, get them up out of here. Yeah, so now, and at one point, everybody rejected it anyway. And that's why I say we're repoing black. We're gatekeeping black. Y'all gonna be exactly what you said you were in the world's history. So Sudan means the land of blacks. Okay? And that's who you are. We're not the land of blacks. You agree with that? We're not the land. We don't call ourselves the land of blacks.
No, we not the land of blacks.
Yeah.
That would, but it, yeah, that's
so
that's
we call
wild.
ourselves black for different reasons, right?
Not originally, like, so it's
No.
splitting
Okay,
hairs.
you're mixing up. So wait. They were called black by Arabs. We were called black by Europeans. So yeah.
Exactly.
So right.
As a
Okay. So
descriptor.
all right. No, I'm saying you missed what I just said. I said we called ourselves and they called themselves. We called ourselves black. Now it's we. It's no longer him or them or they.
Mm-hmm.
We call ourselves black, different from why Sudanese people call themselves black. That was the question.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll say that. I'll say that.
I got you. A family. They call themselves black because they was black as hell, colored. That's why they call themselves black. We didn't call ourselves black until 1960, my boy. They call themselves black after a color. Yeah, I guess we are black. And that's an exonym. We're not exonym. We're ethnonym, bro. They were exonym. Sudan is an exonym. Somebody else called you that. And you agreed that that was good. We don't call ourselves
for the African Americans. Somebody called them that, and then they agreed to it.
Well, I don't know what an African American is, but for black people, no. Yeah, no, I don't know what African. You made that shit up because again, that's a racialized term. That I know a lot of y'all Pan-Africanists. Now look, it's Black Power, it's Black Wall Street, it's a Black self-defense, it's Black City Plan, it's Black everything, Black crime rate. But you guys want to call us African something? Everything, all of their language is black. But when it comes to identifying, they deliberately and intentionally don't say black. They say African American all the time. Okay. That's
so
intentional.
when did you stop calling yourself African American?
I never call myself African American. That's something we filled out. That's why I don't know if you're from this country. Like you're saying you are, but listen, I got aunts that's 75, 70, 68. I can put on three-way. Auntie, what did you call yourself growing up? You think you're gonna say African American? I got my mom, bro. I got access to my mom. I got access to uncles. Older cousins. Nobody's saying we already.
No,
I already did that.
I said you. You.
Yeah, no, I never call myself African American, bro.
Oh, okay.
Black, yeah, black. I mean, but none of us did. Ain't nobody call himself African American. Yo, when somebody said, "Hey, how we look?" African American. Give me a description. Okay, well, he had locks, right? He was African American. No, bro, it's black. Black Wall Street, black this, Black Panther. Ain't no African nothing.
So people walking around calling themselves African American. You're saying you never seen that other than online. With Pan-Africans.
Okay.
Say
that again.
So you're saying in real life you never witnessed black people calling themselves African American, like this some made up online stuff, African American. Hello?
Okay, I don't know how hard this is to understand, but ethnonym is your name. Two ways names are given normally. The most common way is obviously you name yourself and you define yourself. Okay? And that's called an endonym. Okay, the other unfamiliar way is that somebody else name you something and you take on their name and their definition. That's an exonym. Okay, so people were being called black by outsiders. They're ops, either Arabs or white people. Okay, you took on their name and the definition that came with it, and it was usually disrespectful. It was a derogatory term. All right, cool. Exonym. We did not do that. Once we became free, once we became able and available to name ourselves, we named ourselves after the word black. But it was not used as a descriptor as it normally was in history. We named ourselves black and we made that adjective, that descriptor, a proper noun. That's never happened before. Okay, we put a capital B on a word that would normally have a lowercase b. We said put some respect on this name, this word. Then that's black. We then defined black, and it wasn't a color, my guy, like the outsiders name or call people black. They didn't even name them black. They called them black, but it was a descriptive term. For us, black was not a color. It was an experience, a lived experience. Okay? The black experience. So that's an endonym. And we put the definition to it, proper noun. Nobody's done that. Nobody took a color, adjective, called themselves after it, defined it, and made it a proper noun. Put some respect on it, made the color be capitalized, taking it from the adjective sense to a proper noun. We did that. Everybody else were called and named by their ops, and they took on the definition of their ops. Exonym. Right? Are we clear now? That's an exonym. These same people that took on names from outsiders and their definitions, a lot of them end up renaming themselves anyway, and that's it. But we're the only people to take on black or a color, but black. We're focused on black and take it for ourselves. We're exclusive to us. It's defining our lived experience in America. Is called the black experience, starting from U.S. chattel slavery all the way down to 2025, going into 2026. Endonym. Everybody else who's so-called were called black by their ops, that was a nickname because the first time they got a chance to name themselves, like the Haitians, they said 1804, they said we're Haitians. Other folks said we're Ghanaians, we're from Ghana. Other folks said we are Congolese.
Sudanese, Eritrean, not black. Okay, so all those names I mentioned, those are not nicknames. Those are not buffers. Those are their real names that they named themselves. When we named ourselves, it was black. 1960s and in the 1970s, the government made it a racial term or whatever they did. So it was on the books. Black. We're the only black people in that sense. Took a word like black, made it an ethnonym, capital B, proper noun, no adjective, and defined it ourselves. It's nothing to join. It's nothing to later on come behind us and be that as well. It's no black Brit. Those people are from West Africa, and they're Nigerian, and others are from the island, the Caribbean, right? So that's a term they took on later, cosplaying us.
So in America, my race is black African American, but it's a race. You're too dumb to know that. That's why I put the link down there. That's a race, but that's not exclusive to just black Americans. That's everybody African descent that comes to this country. They're putting down. So, but that's not, you are not your race. The guy who said that, so he's not clicking that link. You are not your race. You are your ethnonym. You are your tribe, or where your country is. We know the man of your country. You're the countryman. You're not your race, my guy. One time that's called successful. That's called, you found something out. You know what you're doing. But I just invested in thumbnails, better topics, be more consistent on my times. It's simple shit and business stuff, and that's what helped it grow. And I focus, right? And I just focus more on me rather than everybody and their mother. All right. So now, with all that being said, so when people start to see, and then I'm talking, I took a position. I'm FBA, Foundation of Black American. I'm ADOS. I'm an American descendant of slavery, and I'm a descendant of a freedman. These are all facts, right? This ain't something that I joined or this was inherited. Like I have a lineage that goes back to 1700 sometime. So these are facts. Now I know this. I know that we were using wrong language. Like there's no disaggregated term for us. When we're called African American and Black American, we're grouped with everybody who's African descent. Now the difference is that they can peel that off and be considered the most successful immigrant group in the country. That's called Nigerians.
Now,
so you see,
Sheffrin be in that very discord, he be arguing that very point that you about to say right now. Sheffrin be in there arguing. He be the only one in there arguing the very point that you finna say, that is no delineation. Like when they fill out an application, like a guy from Nigeria can come here and he fill out an application, he gonna check African American. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is this argument that Sheffrin be having. So like that's what I'm saying. Like for you to be here saying like Sheffrin is Pan-African and you've been beating him up for years and whoop-de-woo, it's kind of wild to me because like
hold on. Wait.
This guy every day.
Wait. So before we go backwards, right? So let me just tell you how, because I was watching, and this is for everybody who holds this position. So now what I'm saying is like, so I'm saying anybody can call and debate me on this, not some random talking point or defend or the Indians. Yeah, I made that up on that channel, talking about I was siding with. First of all, y'all don't even know the reason for my channel. And speaking of channel changes, shit went from pseudo killer to this and that to Amara Squad to now it's community sketch.
Believe me, I'm biased. You know who you talking to, bro? The guy who done argued to the cows came home. Well, on all kinds of different topics, bro.
Right, now I get it, but what I'm saying is so if Chef is arguing that, and he's actually arguing
so
it.
To bring up Unc wouldn't do any good in this conversation. Like, it's whether Unc is a wild ass nigga or not, we probably all agree on that, right? So,
okay,
to bring that up, that ain't gonna do any justice. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing though. But when y'all bringing me up, you're bringing up Sanchez, you're bringing up this person, that person. So it's like, well, they only talk about me. They don't bring nobody else up. Same energy. But look, So if that's Chef's argument and that's his position, I'm like, well, what could the pushback be? Because either he's wrong or he's correct. So if people are pushing back on that, I want to talk to those people. I want them to come over here, and I want to hear what they got what rebuttal they got against that.
So those people are the ones that push back. Usually, usually they Pan-African. Usually they have
yeah, but some of them ain't though.
Yeah, some of them ain't, but and a lot of them. So when I hear the conversation, most of the time I hear like kind of like divisiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little divisiveness. That's the argument that they have. Like it's divisive or whatever. That like ADOS and FBA is kind of a divisive thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right now,
whereas, you know, they're and I don't know that. To me personally, I don't know that like some, you know, Nigerian immigrant is my biggest challenge. You know, I run into a lot of challenges in my 40 years here in America. Some Nigerian ain't never been one of them. But,
I got it. See, but again, right, because that's how you phrase it. But I do know this. Maybe I'll know a little more. I know this. I know that some Nigerian come here with white supremacist viewpoints. They say they got it from their parents, and then they find themselves in politics, right? They find themselves mayors of a city, and they find themselves in a school board, and they find themselves in position of power to allocate money, fundings, and resources. So to me, that's problemsome. You come to this country, look like me. That means you can misrepresent me. You can speak for me, and you can deny stuff and say, no, we don't need that. We're good. And you came over here totally different than how I got over here, and and one of us have a legacy, a lineage legacy.
Black Americans get in a position for some, like how wouldn't that be? So if somebody came and got in a position to speak for me and then deny me and control my circumstances, wouldn't that be a fuck up on my part?
No, because we know that this country is ran by white supremacists, and they use their systemic racism, and that's a real power. That shit got us at 0.0%, of the wealth. So that's a real power. And I'm not going to act that doesn't exist. That shit is real. And these people,
white supremacy definitely does exist.
Right. Yeah, and then like I said, people come over here and they align themselves up with white supremacists, and they call themselves conservatives, right? And they again. It ain't like they coming as Jamaican conservatives.
Because they diluted, because of somebody comes over here and dilutes.
But I wasn't done though. No, I wasn't.
Go ahead.
That's my point. My point is, I know what you guys do. You guys act like they're powerless people. They're just fucking third class citizens
no, they actually getting power. But I'm talking about diluting meaning mentally, because they couldn't dilute themselves mentally. Go ahead.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is Black Americans, we're the only people who were subjected to another people for as long as we live, right? So we've been deprived, not like nobody else, neglected, benign neglect, all that. We got a whole history, a whole everything that happened to us. And matter of fact, we didn't gain riches, and we're literally taken from us, some Debo shit, right? Urban renewal. We know about all this stuff, right? So all the way until 1968, at least on paper, where it was taken off the books, right? And then we know that our efforts allowed everybody who couldn't come in, even white people who could not come in this country, who had quotas. We know that. We know that our fight, our plight, ended up benefiting everybody who couldn't come here before 1965. They're here now. And these same people who Dr. King looked out for and Dr. King made sure that they were protected by civil rights. Dr. King made sure that they could move around and get to resources, and not just him, his whole organization. So making sure these immigrants come over here and we're good. These same people, their lineage, their descendants, same people had the nerve to, even white people, like I said, they also benefit from our plight, can look back at us and say, you guys are lazy. You guys are this, you guys are that. When these guys are being, like Teresa, she said, allowed to be progressive in this country. They're being allowed. to be progressive, right? They're not targeted. These guys got flags in their car. So they keep saying, if a police officer pulls us over, they can. No, they can, because you got a damn Trinidadian flag in your car. You didn't even get pulled. They already know who you are before they pull you over. And you got a Jamaican flag. And this guy got this flag. No, they know it. The Barbadian flag. No, they know exactly who the hell's in that car. And
some
when you
racist white cop in Kentucky gives a damn about a Trinidadian, like he gonna respect the Trinidad guy more than me.
Yeah.
I don't think he give a fuck about neither one of us. Both of us niggas. He's not seeing that nuance that you seeing. All of the nuance that you see, like that white police officer that jump out that car. He's not seeing none of that shit.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
I disagree.
I'm saying it's not valid. What I'm saying is, when the police officer get out the car, all he sees is nigga. That's it.
But I don't believe that. And let me, because again, like, I don't know if, I don't know if you even know what they were doing. Okay, do you know what they were doing when they came to Ellis Island to separate themselves from me? So we're talking about Afro-Caribbeans and West Africans. Do you know how they were differentiating themselves from us so that white folks could give them a pass and allow them in there?
They were deluded, but yeah, go ahead. I hear you. They tried to do something that was deluded. This delusion.
They were showing their paperwork. Certain organizations they were down that only they was part of and we weren't, and they were using their accents when a police officer talked to them, they would speak with an accent. And guess what? And they were left alone. So white Americans, they know that black Americans, we deleted backspace their ancestors, their relatives in the Civil War. We have that history. And that's something that they never gonna forgive us for. We fought and we ended their money, not the people coming over today. All right. So they have just like many people say when they take their ass to South Africa, they say those people in South Africa do not look at black Americans with the same hatred they have for the South Africans over there, because they understand that we're not tied to anything over there. So they don't have the same strong feelings, and that's everywhere.
Right. Everywhere. They would have the same strong. Yeah. Once you do figure out the delineation, right? I guess they will. But I'm saying, like, at face value, I don't think they really, like, some cop is really trying to make that difference. Okay. Whatever.
Okay. So let me give a case in point then. Okay. Let me not say anybody random. Let me point to an actual individual who African descent, Caribbean descent, that he's not black American, and who set us back some hundreds of years. You ready for this one?
Oh, I'm definitely sure you can give some examples of some wild guy or whatever. Go ahead, though.
No, he ain't wild. It's Marcus Garvey. It's like he's one of the first leaders of Pan-Africanism. He came over here.
Wild guy, in my opinion. Scam artist, snake oil. If you ask me, but go ahead.
He definitely was. Yeah, but he came over here from another country. He disrespected everything we were fighting for, everything we always fought for, our wins, our L's. He didn't give a fuck about none of that. He said, I got the answer. Follow me. Forget about what answers you already accomplished here and what you're building on, adding to. This is the answer. And the answer is leaving the country. And that was never an answer for nobody. That was never an answer for no black American in this country, leaving the country. We fought for rights. We fought equality. We fought for all type of shit. That was not on our mind.
That's to leave the country. Uniqueness. Yeah, we built this, so why would we leave it? You know what I'm saying?
Right. So what I'm saying is that energy is constant. So when they come over here, they like to feel entitled, like they have the answer, but they fled from a country that they didn't have answers for. And they're the majority. It's like, hold on. So you're going to come over here as a minority amongst the strongest white people in human known history, and you're going to have this the answer for us? And you just fled your country and you're the majority?
Why that's kind of the case. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just Jamaicans or Islanders or whatever. Like, worldwide, folks want to come to America for financial gain or whatever.
Yeah, but people don't come to give us. But people don't come to give us answers though. Like people just mind their business normally.
When Marcus Garvey came and said he had the answers, well, like, black people should have shot him. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, they tried to, but he was speaking. See, but here's the snake oil. he was speaking to the poor, and the Red Summer just happened where the KKK had to, So we know that he studied us. Like, we know that he was over in Jamaica studying our plight, and he know exactly where to come. He didn't take his bum ass to the South. He came to the safe.
He knew how to run his scam, right?
He came to the north, but north.
They wouldn't have had that kind of money to fund his scam in Jamaica. But go ahead.
Got it. So, well, we couldn't fund it either. And then you're selling stocks. Like, yo, what the fuck? Stocks? We looking like, what the? So our leaders are like, what? What's he selling? Stock. Oh, get this guy the fuck out of here, man. So like, they already like was on him from day one. Like, yo, okay, look, watch this guy. And then he just proves them right over and over and over, where we had to do the Garvey Must Go campaign. But what I'm saying is that they had, now this is one, remember, you said,
the government did that for us. I think the government put out for us in that case.
No,
go ahead.
No, that ain't. Do you know? That's actually false. Yeah, that's actually.
Did they ship his ass out of here?
Yeah, but why? Why?
Because of mail fraud.
No. We put them on them. It was our leaders who contacted, that's known as the FBI now. We contacted the FBI and said, get this guy there. He's scamming us. Right. No.
The how they prosecuted him was through mail fraud, though.
Yeah, of course. Because he's scamming us. They don't care about that. He's scamming us. Okay. But the minute he started to commit mail fraud, that's when he said, okay, we got him. Well, now we got something legit. Because
you thought I was being serious about the white folks looked out for us. That was hyperbole.
I don't know. I'm just speaking factual. But what I'm saying is, you said there's one immigrant can't do much, and I'm showing you one immigrant did a lot.
Yeah. So I'm saying like I'm sure what I was saying is I'm sure is a guy that you could point to that was doing some wild shit. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we deserve to have
what I'm saying in general.
But we don't know. We don't know. We're trying to stop the next Garvey. So what I'm saying is, brother, we have a right to have a never again moment. So now the Jewish community, anything that's remotely smells like anti-Semitism, they're on it. They're knocking it out. And it might not even be that, but because they really stand by that never again chant. Okay, right. So we got one, sir. We got one too. And we say anything that smells like it. So when these folks come over here and say that they've been trained by their mothers to stay away from us, we're lazy, all that shit, that smells like a Garvey shit. So we are on them immediately. We ain't giving no lace to that shit.
Right, okay. Yeah, I mean, if your mama told you to stay away from niggas, you probably should listen to your mama. I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, but we know that there's a lot of people who give these guys excuses. Oh, just ignore them.
White folks told their kids, their daughters to stay away from them.
Right. So that's why we don't see them that's why we don't see them as no different. Like when people say the enemy, I always ask them, who's the enemy? Because I recall the largest human trafficking event in history was the transatlantic slave trade. I'm asking people, who's the enemy, the buyer or the seller?
The seller.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Who's the enemy, the buyer or seller? Yeah. So we don't look at people because they're skin folk, they're automatically kin folk. We look at actions, right? We see consistency, and we see what they do when they actually come here. What effort they're giving. They're here. They are our minority. They're here in the small millions. We're 43 million deep. You would think that you come to another country with other melanated people. You know what? Let's rock with them. Like, they're the larger body politic. That's like common sense. That's not what's happening. Like, let's join their fights and their plights, and let's see how we can get some shit snuck in there.
They didn't come over here for that. They came over here for financial gain.
Right, and that's
to be a part of.
I know, but we thought okay. What I'm saying is, that's why I say we and them got two different worldviews. We looked at it as, is us against white supremacy. Like, when I say us, all melanated people. That's how we looked at this. And when they came over here, we see that's not how they seen it. And we were kind of confused because we're trying to join them in our organization. Some join and whatever, but we thinking that they have the same worldview as us. Like, we got to stop white supremacy, global white supremacy. And like you're saying, when it came over here and we see that's not on their brain, we're like, what the fuck happened here? You know, that caused some confusion. And then we watched them, and here comes some undermining. Here comes some sabotaging. And then the reparations thing pop up. And we see a lot of these guys running it and purposely losing. Well, that's my opinion, but they gotta be, because you cannot claim no race-based reparations, and they all did. As a matter of fact, there's a reparation case right now in New Jersey, and it is led by a goddamn tether who's arguing for race-based. So now look, we already exposed you cannot do race-based. That's like clearly known now. So they probably didn't know at that time, and maybe they did, but we know now you can't do it. There's a guy right now in New Jersey arguing for race-based reparations. So it's like, at some point,
he's doing something within.
But you can't do a race-based nothing. Like that's at this point, it's common sense, because Adolf and FBA already exposed that back in 2016, and we're like 9 years later, and these are big movements with big noise. You know, we the ones that Adolf is the reason why California had changed the reparations stance from race. From race to lineage. And matter of fact, they did a vote, and we won 4-5. They voted for lineage-based reparations, because it's common sense, and legally you can't do nothing race-based. That's an L right away. So what I'm saying is, like, we have a loud roar. So for this guy, for this tether to come over here and argue for reparations, I don't know how he even doing that as an immigrant, but then he making it race-based in 2025. That's the problem. We're like, okay, dude, you can't say ignorance today now. You got ChatGPT, you got Grok, AI, and come on, dude. Like, what are we doing? So at some point, it becomes intentional. And we call that undermining, sabotaging, and that's a huge issue for us.
Well, I definitely hear you. I mean, I ain't really mad at much you said there. You know what I mean? I ain't really got objections to much you said there, but you know, I just came on just to let you know that I was never.
Okay, so now let me explain why I said what I said about you. All right. Well, why I called you a coon and whatever I did. What's going on, bro? Yeah. So let me explain that. All right, Stu Pease in high school. They got a long history. Like X cooked. Him and X had a full debate that I played like 20 times through all my 3 channels. You can find it right now. Just any channel, FBA Defense Unit, Unbiased Ron, or FBA News and Updates. Just go to search and type in Stu Pease or X Architect. You're gonna see them debate for like 40 minutes. X cooked the
good debate. I can see that being a good discussion.
But it wasn't. It was one-sided, and then Stu Pease. I mean, it was not even close at all. And all Stu Pease did was disrespect Black Americans to try to win a debate versus like what they were talking about. So we're lazy. Being bad faith arguments like this. Well, the Nigerians are doing better, you guys. Okay, so X articulate. He says, Stu Pease, are you dumb? Nigerians are an immigrant group. They are only compared to other immigrant groups. You can't compare a small group to a whole populace of people. You compare population with population, and you compare groups with groups. He made that very clear to this guy. But because he'd be stuck in his emotions, he still argued that point. And he said other hateful things that was towards Black Americans. And Haskell did the same thing. And they always have done that on my channels.
So you call me a coon because of stupid.
Yeah. Right. Because you got a guy on it. Matter of fact, Chief X called him out. This guy was the title's FBA, but he's lying about ADOS. He's lying about. I mean, like to me, I'm gonna be real. If somebody can't see that Stu Pease is a fucking hater of the Black Americans, I'm good with them. Like, I'm gonna just be real. If somebody can't see that this dude has straight hatred.
Conversations with Stu Pease though.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I don't think we don't really have like that discussion. But when we do have that discussion, like he ain't never said nothing like kind of off the wall. Like it's I've heard. You know what I'm saying?
Well, ask him some questions. You'll see, because he can't hold it in. Like, I didn't even know he's like that. And then I said the origins before you guys can ever say I'm grifting. You out your goddamn mind. It was Stu Peace and Haskell kept bringing up ADOS and FBA on my panels when we were not talking about it. I was ignoring them. I kept saying, get back to topic. Get back to topic. So you guys got to know, you don't know that. But all the stuff is live recorded. I know where they all are at. And I should tell them, hey, man, get back on topic, because I knew where it was going to go. So, okay, so then finally, I'm like, all right, let's talk about it.
I've had some discussion, but I never heard like that discussion on your panel before, like the AD.
Oh, yeah.
The ADOS. Usually you about something else when I was.
Yeah, exactly. And they kept bringing, like, we're talking about rappers, who the best rapper. We're talking about boxing. We're talking about everything, and maybe some Dwight York, and then Stu Peace and Haskell, because they be having these conversations amongst themselves. On my panel, they would bring up Tariq Nasheed, Yvette Carnell. Oh, they divisive. And then I'll say, I'm like, oh, bro, we're not doing that. We're talking about this. And then when they kept doing it, I finally was like, all right, look, what y'all want to talk about? Now, you even said it. You said divisive. Okay, then y'all want to jump the gun and like be disingenuous. The division came when they would come into, I recall them calling Tariq Nasheed spaces and trolling and debating and arguing, roasting. And he's roasting back. He's a funny guy. He's a comedian. And so people would clip the roasting part, not the serious. He also had serious conversations with them. When they call and say, hey, what is it about? Blah, blah, blah. He'll be straight up real with them, no jokes. But they would come with the jokes or the disingenuous or the bad faith arguments undermining us. And then it goes there. But when they initially call, it'd be a legit conversation about our talking points, reparations, delineation, self-identification. These be serious conversations with some of them. And then some come with the trolling shit. Then he gave them nicknames. Okay, so what people do is they clip that. They clip the roasting session, not how it started, and say, hey, look, they're being divisive. So if anybody fall for that, they're an idiot. Because I know me. I need context. You give me 3 seconds. You give me a 30-second clip. Let me click where's the rest of it? And anybody serious won't even do a video. We'll clip it. See, when you clip something and play it, there's the option to listen to the whole thing. Like, all my shit are clips. I don't make videos. I don't make short videos for Movie Maker. All of my stuff are clips where if I send it, you guys can click it and see the whole context. These guys are making videos. So you can't even click to see where this original conversation stemmed from. So like, that's just bad research, bad faith, everything right there. You made a video. You didn't even clip it. And the clip feature is free. It's there.
I don't know that everybody all savvy with that. I mean, I know how to do it.
Then stay off the internet. Then, if people are lacking, and they trying to come in these spaces, and people like me know this shit, and then that's why they get cooked. You come over here lacking. You know what happens when you lacking. It'll end up good for you. When anybody got beef and they're lacking, it never ends up well for them.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I think you did a little bit of an evolution yourself, though.
Go ahead, start. Let's go.
I don't know that you always seen things the way that Tariq Nasheed, see things.
Like what?
Well, it was a time where I can remember a time where you thought that like maybe Tariq Nasheed was maybe like some type of scam artist or something.
No, never said that. So now let me tell you what I said, because I know there's nobody on earth I agree with fully. Okay. Right. Okay. So Tariq, I'm fully jabbed up. He's not. All right. Right. So I disagree there. All right. So there. Oh, yeah. I'm fully jabbed up. Okay. That's what we're trying to tell people, man. We can have differences and still be brotherly and sisterly. We don't have to agree with. I'm not into UFOs. Okay, wait. Let me say this for the chat, because we're talking to a chat, and the video will be replayed. Like, they replay my videos even though they don't catch it live. So this is for them. I always maintain that we're 43 million. There's some Tariq might like the Lakers. I'm gonna like the Knicks. All right, and we're gonna argue and disagree. That's okay. He's going to be into UFOs. I'm not UFO at all. Tariq is into some type of spirituality. I'm not. Okay, so but these are good disagreements. It shows that we're not yes men towards each other. All right, even me and ex-architect debate all the time. We differ on the school system. We differ on what is the problem. He says the teachers, I say outdated information. All right, so but that means that we don't get along now, and we not. No. So I'm a real guy. My name is Unbiased for a reason. I'm going to let you know when I disagree, and I'm never going to agree with certain things I don't disagree with. But when you say something that I think is brilliant, I'm gonna give you flowers. Because I know the conversation in 2001. You don't. When Obama was running for president, and they was naming him the first black president or the first African American. I know for a fact. I got clips, and I know that time because DJ Focus, Dad's Nation of Islam. All right, and as soon as he ran for candidacy, he did lectures. I got video lectures in 2003, 2002. And DJ Focus' dad said Obama's not black. He's from another country. Okay. And I know that was the argument at the time. Many people standing up saying he's not black. And then they actually said the acronym DOS. Of course, they said it. They said he's not a descendant of slaves. Not just him. You had white people say Obama is not a descendant of slaves. So they were saying DOS, and we just ain't put it together. We didn't even have a word for it. The sister, Dickerson, she was saying this. Like, they was laughing at her because they were kind of confused what she was saying. She said he's not black. See, but at that time he was black because black just means somebody to the average idiot, somebody who's just dark skinned or of African descent. But she clarified, but there was no real term for that. So she said, well, he's not a descendant of slaves. So immediately when she had to think of something real fast to show how he's not black like us, she said descendant of slaves. And everybody stopped laughing and they understood what she meant. Mm-hmm. So all Yvette Carnell did was have a light one day, a genius moment where they said, okay, I got it. I got the terminology. Since people were already using DOS way back in 2001, let's stay right there and let's just throw the A on there because there's many descendants of slaves all across the world. Let's throw that A there. Now that A is American. American is a demonym. I got to teach people this shit. A demonym is the shortcut name of the nickname of the country. The country is called the United States of America. So you cannot lump up the Americas when we say American. So when you say American descendant of slaves, that's a demonym for the United States of America. Now, when somebody say, nah, Americans is all the Americas, I know that's an idiot. They don't understand. We use it as a demonym. Okay. We don't use it as that. We're talking about all the Americas. All right. So we know that when it's said American, we don't got to clarify that a demonym is a real word and Americans are demonym and Nigeria is their demonym. It's called the Congo's mothership, the real name. And there's many demonyms for many countries. So she threw the American there because she knows it's a demonym that only leaves it to us, this country and this government in chattel slavery. So the United States of America, descendant of slaves. Mm-hmm. And so all she did is put the A there so the confusion won't be like, well, there's many people from different Americas, and that's why the A was there as a demonym to specify and target. No, we're talking about U.S. chattels, U.S. United States of America. That's all. USA, basically. Right. That's also a nickname, right? Abbreviation, because that's a long ass title. So we just made it short. But yeah, so she said that. Tarina, she came behind that, and he felt like that term wasn't all exclusive, like it wasn't airtight as they think it is. He thought he sees some loopholes how somebody could come, immigrant could come and tag on to that. And he said, okay, look, because again, they kept saying we all been slaves somewhere. Because that I know the arguments that was going on at that time. I watched all those fucking podcasts, unbeknownst to Stu Pease and Haskell. They thought they was going to do an ambush on me, but let me say, he's okay. The foundational will eliminate the whole argument. We've been slaves somewhere too. Okay, well, you haven't been foundational here. And matter of fact, we all say, you know what? We like that term better because we don't want to be associated all the time with something old like slavery. So we say, and because I seen that something shame, we know that people from other countries would use that to shame us. So, all right, look, we're black, we're American, and foundational is our contributions are free labor, cheap labor, all that convict leasing, sharing cars, all that stuff, what we did for this country. And I want to say this lastly. because you got people like the Italians and the Chinese who expanded the railroads west. You have the Irish who was in the steel mills and they were in the coal mines, right? But the difference is they were just there. We did all of that. So we did what they did and more. We did tobacco, sugar, cotton. We did all that shit. Railroad tracks, steel mines, and the what's the last one? The coal mines and the steel mills and the coal. So we did all that. They didn't. No, none of those groups did all of it. They did one thing or two. We did all of it. So they say, hey, we're foundational too. Yeah, I guess you could say, you contributed, but you're not foundation in that you were involved in every aspect of making this country great.
Right.
That's all. So now, just off that, I don't think there should be pushback from there. Oh, Tariq made it up. Oh, okay, so what? And then I see Unc and Chief. So somebody got him. So now we got him because it was Thunder. I think Thunder did a good job actually. Thunder did what X-Architect did to Unc. See, Unc. I just can't believe that people still be following Unc, knowing that he's Mr. Confirmation Bias. So X did what Thunder did. He showed him the definition of FBA. It's the first paragraph on the website. What Unc does is skip that and go to something else that's different from the definition. The definition is laid out. That's the first thing laid out, what a foundation of Black American is. Now, Unc is so crazy, I was going to say something else, that X knew he didn't read that part. He skipped somewhere where that's confirmation bias, that's cherry picking. He went where he wanted to go. So X read the definition off. He didn't tell Unc where he got it from. He said, Unc, does this definition describe you? That fool said yes. And he was reading Tariq Nasheed's definition of FBA. So be like, oh, so you got a problem with just Tariq's acronym. Right, not the definition, it's the acronym. Then you run to 3 strikes, he run to 3 stars somewhere. The 3 stars is separate. That's not the definition.
I don't, because see, well, at least even me, well, I'll speak for myself. I can't speak for all these other folks, but what I'll say is, so you can, when you define the FBA, I could identify as that myself, but when you, a lot of times there's baggage that comes along with certain names, the way the way things are in a group. So
explain the baggage that comes with FBA.
Yeah, so like with the FBA, right? Fine. When you read I guess if you define it in the way that, I don't know what the definition was, but I'm sure you can find a way to where I could definitely agree with it. You know what I mean? And then, but
what's the baggage?
So it's baggage that comes with that, though, right?
Like what?
So like there's an ideology that comes with the way Tariq Nasheed. It's an ideology with his group or the FBA, I guess, you know what I'm saying? And so FBA is associated with Tariq Nasheed. He got a certain type of rhetoric, you know what I mean, that comes along with that. And sometimes, people don't identify with that part of it, you know what I'm saying?
They got to make up something. Okay, first of all, there's no ideology. Tariq gave the definition. Now, anything outside of that, that's personal. So if he says, hey, man, some people were here before, that's personal. That's not a requirement, bro. That's not a requirement to be FBA or ADOS. The requirement is the ethnogenesis. So for people that believe they were here, people who believe they came on slave ships, that's your origin story. But that's not the requirement to be FBA. So if you only was here before the slave ships, if you only came by way of slave ships and you never underwent the U.S. child slavery, you're not FBA. So there's a specific requirement to be FBA, and coming on slave ships ain't the only requirement. And or being here all time. That's not enough. You have to go through. You have to go through U.S. chattel slavery before we even have a conversation.
No, so you said, say again, I misheard. You said, okay, cool. You only came through the slave ships, you're not FBA? Are you still there?
Yeah, my mic is just like, oh, I think my son destroyed it. Okay, so it might be me. It might be me because he's 4, but it might be me though because I keep it in. Like, you don't take the best care of it. You dig? I throw it in the bag, so it's probably me. Just blaming his little ass. But so let me just make it more simpler. A requirement to be FBA is U.S. chattel slavery. If you didn't go through that, however you got here is meaningless. You have to go through U.S. chattel slavery. There's people who got here and got shipped right to the Caribbean. They're not FBA. And I think
a lot of the people, I think it's a lot of mixture. Like, so, some people were born over here, I guess, after a while within slavery, but those people were brought over here too from the Caribbean.
Right, and they're FBA, right. See, we already covered that. See, like, there's no confusion with us. See, people like to talk about it, but they don't like to talk to us because talking to us, some answers are finally delivered. Yeah, those people were brought over here. That don't matter if they stayed here the whole way and had descendants. They're FBA. It's that simple. You have to stay here, go through the ethnogenesis, complete ethnogenesis, and be known as an American citizen your entire life. You're FBA. But chattel slavery starts the conversation.
Okay, but what does that have to do with the slave? I ain't getting the slave shit part, though.
Okay. No, I just summed it up. I was talking to 2 different audiences. Okay. So without adding too much confusion, because I was talking to people because there's people who say I came on slave ships. I was not here before slave ships. I was talking to them. And then there's people saying I never came on slave ships. I was already here. So I was talking to 2 different groups at the same time, trying to address both of them. And that's why I say, so to be more clear.
Was here?
No. I'm saying for people who, okay, listen, bro. You can't gaslight me. I'm saying for people that believe that I were talking to them. So I'm saying those stories.
I'm trying to get clarity.
Right. So, but you got to listen. I'm giving you clarity right now. I'm clarifying. I'm saying.
Bro, I'm asking clarification questions, right, bro.
Okay, cool. And I'm trying to answer it. You're cutting in.
I don't like when people be like, "Oh, you gaslighting." It's like, bro.
But you are though, because I know what you're doing. All right, but check it out. It ain't gonna work. So let me say this. People came on. Right. I got you. I know. But people came over here on slave ships, right? That don't mean they went through chattel slavery, right? Like we agree, some of those people got shipped off somewhere else, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I got you.
Right.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So they're not FBA. Now, for those who like to say they were already here, they're not necessarily FBA either. If they didn't go, so I'm saying bragging about that ain't good enough. You got to now prove your ass went through chattel slavery. Cause you was always here, you ain't go through that. You're not FBA.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, how would you have went through chattel slavery if you wasn't on the slave ships? It's kind of
because. Hard. But if you're already here, okay, watch this. Watch how easy that is. If you're already here, you didn't come on slave ships, and you look like us, and they throw you in the midst of us, you're doing slavery.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all of that. That's what I'm saying. Like, all of that baggage, like, that's to me.
That's history. That's light work. That's just, all right, cool. I mean, but me. Yeah, but okay, cool. Well, you know, worst baggage.
Like was like
worst baggage is saying you're African American.
Identified. That's why.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Worst baggage is saying, are you African American?
Yeah.
That's worst baggage. So you're a race, but what is your ethnonym?
I don't know what the ethnic.
Yeah, see, okay. All right. So what is your ethnic label? So outside of being part of a race and outside of being part of the descendants of African race. Okay. So let me give you an example. A Nigerian is considered African American. That's his race, but his ethnic standing on label is Nigerian or Yoruba, right? A Jamaican is considered African American as a race. So now I'm asking. Say that again?
Black African American.
Wait, hold on. So African American, I mean, you said the same thing. You just added black there. So African American is your race, and your ethnonym is a Black African American. You just said the same thing.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say, bro. I'm a Black African American. That's
so,
what I
okay.
call it.
I got you. And look, I don't tell people, like, what I don't do is make people, I don't do like a religion where you gotta say FBA. Hey man, call it what you want to call it. That's not important to me. The only thing that's important to me is, are you of the lineage? And when I say important, I'm saying important that what we're trying to do, like we're trying to galvanize on a simple commonality. That's not ideology based. That's not religion based or political based. None of that stuff. Just simply because you were born a certain way.
FBA got an ideology. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, no. Okay, dude, nah, that's weak. You just said this. You just said to don't mention Unc when I'm speaking to you because Unc sometimes could be wild. I said, okay. Now, you just did that to me. You're saying because a couple FBAs are saying some wild stuff.
With Unc though, I don't have it. I don't.
I got you, but I'm just saying. I got you. I'm just saying back what you said to me. I'm saying, why would you have me to speak?
You can't say the same thing to me though, like because you have Tariq's ideology. I don't have ideology.
No, I don't. Wait. Okay, prove out now. See, this is what he tiptoe and twist and tap out. Hey, bro, prove one ideology I got from Tariq. Prove one. You said it. Now you got to prove it. Source up.
We're gonna say what?
Source up. Prove. Give me the ideology I bought from Tariq Nasheed. I just said that he's against jab. I'm jabbed up. Okay.
So you have Tariq. So what comes with an ideology is like language and different.
Okay.
Things.
So go ahead. So tell me.
Who's a tether and who's not a tether? That's an ideology that.
Okay. Hold on.
Rhetoric.
Okay. Hold on. All right. I see why they're crying now. Actually, are you familiar with Melvin Charles, the one that created the Black American Heritage flag?
No, I'm familiar with the Black.
See, yeah. See, here's the thing. He had wording too that we agreed with, and we even adopted the flag. So yes, so we agree right now. Yeah, in people's homes that don't consider themselves FBA at all, they have the Black American Heritage flag. That's 1967. That shit been popping, and that shit was used in public phones from certain cities and states. They was using that flag to represent Black Americans, delineating. All right, and he has certain terms and phrases that he used that we borrow. That's okay. So if Tariq says something, we got Yvette say things I borrow from. When she say disaggregate, I like that word. I use that. See, we're Black American. When we say something fly, we borrow it. Look at Cap. I say no cap, right? No cap. That's a fly word somebody came up with. And he might be a gangbanger. He might be this, it might be that. But that's a fly terminology to say somebody's lying. So yeah, that's part of AAVE, man. Like we borrow language. Look at your dig. But hey, look at yo. Chef say yo, I say yo, and I'm from Jersey, from Baltimore. We're both saying yo. Okay, so I'm saying like that's part of FBA culture. Certain words hit and some words don't. When Tariq Nasheed decided to label those people who fight against that's obviously immigrants or immigrant born, who fight against our talking points, tooth and nail like a stew peas. He had a clever name for them that he got from a movie. These little tethers. Now, some stuff he say we don't adopt. See, that's the thing. He's a human being. He's a loud voice. He has a microphone, and so does Roland Martin, and so does Umar Johnson. When he says that's bunny, but that's no bunny shit. People borrow that. Hey man, and even Seti, when he said that's Negro pink psychosis. People actually borrowed that, even though they don't subscribe to the whole, the Hotep stuff. People don't subscribe to Umar's Pan-African stuff, but they agree with the Snow Bunny stuff. So I'm saying that's normal. If somebody say some fly shit and you feel like it fits better than any other option, you borrow it. She from the streets, that's Future. Everybody been saying that ever since. She for the streets. That was some fly shit, and the way he had the swag to go with it. Nigga chilling in the back of a Maybach, whatever he's in. They talking about some women. He like, yo, she's for the streets. That went viral.
So
what about the?
So let's take so you familiar with the Nation of Islam, right?
Yeah.
So when you're a part of the Nation of Islam, right? Nation of Islam has a certain ideology. They got certain rhetoric that comes with that and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So like one would say, just because you Islam don't mean, and there's a lot of similar things in Islam that the Nation of Islam practice, right? You know, of course you wouldn't say just because you practice Islam, you're down with the Nation of Islam. But once you start adopting certain certain rhetoric and certain ideology, then that kind of identifies you or kind of puts you in the realm of that Nation of Islam thing. You know what I'm saying?
No,
it's
I don't.
Like you know, you can identify people through the rhetoric. You know, it's like, oh, okay, that's the Nation of Islam guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but it's false though, because you got so many people.
There's a lot of shit that old boy say that that the Nation of Islam would say that I would agree with. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say that because I agree with one or two things that now I'm the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. That's a false argument because Dr. Malachi York used to say non-ether, right? 5% say non-cipher. People use that verbiage and don't even know where that comes from. It just sounds fly to them. And matter of fact, it ain't even non-cipher, it's noun cipher. But they say non-cipher because they think that's what we're saying. It's actually noun cipher. It's part of the supreme alphabet. It's noun cipher, but they say non-cipher. But they get a pass because we know they're trying. But it just sounds fly to them. They have no idea where that comes from. People say non-ether. They have no idea where it comes from. It just sounds fly. Certain people that say fly shit, it just be more lit.
None of that shit before, but
yeah, but all right. I mean, but yeah, you're not from the East Coast, so yeah, okay, I got it. But you're not from the North.
Oh yeah, they see. So that's what I'm saying. So especially on the East Coast, right? You'll hear a lot of that lingo because of that ideology, because of that. You know what I mean?
It's because of the net. No,
that black power, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the lingo, it's an ideology that comes with that lingo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, that's a false equivalent. If I put that shit in AI right now, it's gonna cook you. Like that. I mean, like you guys be saying shit and making that shit absolute. If I put that, I know. We know because we hear the arguments. Like, yo, that shit sound crazy. We listen. This is what you guys. This is
with other human beings, bro.
Look, this is what you guys want to believe. All right, but
it's not a belief of mine. I'm just having an opinion. I'm just having.
Right, okay, then go ahead. All right, everybody got an opinion, and we got one too. It's all right.
A belief, bro.
Okay, all right. So we got it. All right, so we got it. Your race is African American. Your standing on ethnonym is Black African American. We got it. So when you fill out forms, you put Black African American on there?
And I check Black African American. Yeah, absolutely.
No, but that's a race though. I'm saying like when you were able to identify yourself somewhere, like your ethnonym, what do you put down?
I just put American. What do you mean? Like what are you saying, bro? Like
America's your nationality.
There's a box. There's two boxes. Whether you're American citizen, I check that one, right? Are you Black or Black/African American? I check that one.
Right, that's your race. But then, like, if you were to try to separate yourself,
nationality and a race. That's all I need.
Right. No, you didn't. Wait, no, because Nigerians they have an ethnonym tied to that, right? Everybody in the world has an ethnonym. How are you? Yeah, you see. Okay, so you got it, and that's the issue, and that's why we say you're Pan-African. That is the Pan-African. Now, I mean, like, look. Yeah, you just said that we borrow the idea. You just said that we take a word here and there or thought from something that we're part of him. But now you're borrowing arguments and parts of the ideology of Pan-Africans, but you're not a Pan-African. There's baggage that comes with. Wait, hold on. Let me say this.
Pan-Africans they had a whole kind of.
But part of their ideology.
So I don't.
I got you.
Baggage.
No, but you're saying that. But when you say that you're good with a racial
government thing, that ain't a Pan-African thing.
What's the government name?
When I talked about the boxes I checked, that was about a government thing. I wasn't talking about a Pan-African thing.
Okay, okay, I got it. I just asked you personally. I said every human being has an ethnonym, a standalone ethnonym to differentiate or show distinction from them and other people in the world. I just said, what's yours? You said, I ain't worried about that, I don't need it. I'm saying that is part of Pan-African ideology. Right, and I'm saying that's part. Got it. And I'm saying your answer is part of the Pan-African ideology. That's how all of them answer. And because you hang around them, you don't know you're being influenced around them. Yeah, but that's exactly their stance.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so you're saying so.
Go by anything, but
listen, I got it.
When I'm filling out my official government records, bro, that's the way I go, bro. Like, I
got you, and I mean,
I don't have any.
Most people do too, right?
So the difference between me and you is what you saying I got baggage, but I'm not having any baggage because I don't claim Pan-Africanism. You see what I'm saying? You said you are FBA or whatever.
And what else? And what else? And what else? I said I stated a fact. I'm a Black American. The F stands for foundation. That's okay. Right. So that's not baggage.
I never would have asked you that question.
No, I'm saying that's not baggage though. That's being real. So if somebody say, "Hey man, are you a Black American?" Yes. They say, "Hey man, are you a descendant of slavery?" Yes. Are you also descendants of freedmen? Yes. These are simple historical answers. Like there's no baggage coming with that. That's a reality. And did your people lay the foundation for this country? Yes. And also the foundational part, family, we kind of leave in the 1860s, but the foundational part is even in the 1950s because these folks couldn't be here without our fight. So we even laid a new foundation for those folks to come over here in the 1960s. So we laid two foundations. We physically built the country or helped build it, a significant portion of it. And then in 1950, we laid the foundation for other people to have a foundation. We like double foundation of Black Americans.
You're against that. I'm biased for 1 second.
All right. So now I would just the reason why I asked you those questions about. No,
I'm saying, do you think I would have argued against that for 1 second though?
I don't think you should. But the reason why I brought up African American, it wasn't a gotcha. I was showing you that you're saying that we're borrowing something from a man. Now we're tied to baggage.
No, saying like that, the FBA comes with baggage.
Okay, and
you borrowed
no. Yeah, but how? Okay, so watch this. Watch this. What I'm saying is, how do you know they accept FBA? Okay, this person, you don't know at all. They just heard the terminology, foundational, Black American, like so many people have. Like the brother on the phone, or the brother on the channel right now, he said he just subscribed to Tariq Nasheed. Matter of fact, Donnie is ADOS. So you got people, see again, y'all don't know the person of my channel. I had one of the first channels that was inclusive to everybody of the lineage. At that point, people who were claiming ADOS. Listen. Just listen. So when y'all have your private conversations, you can say this, because you guys didn't understand the purpose of my channel. You guys were giving me grifting reasons, and I'm saying my channel was one of the first channels that was welcoming people of the lineage who called themselves FBA and ADOS. At that point, there was like a little rift. You were ADOS, you wouldn't really accept FBA, FBA, you want to accept ADOS. It's like a little rift, like a little civil war, a slight small one. So what I did was I nipped that in the bud. I said, I'm going to create a channel that's going to be all inclusive to everybody that's called themselves ADOS, FBA, descendants of freedmen. That's exactly what I said for my page. I think it's still there. Right. So that was my purpose. I was one of the first people to do that.
The ABOs and stuff, they don't be, they deny slavery and stuff like that. And that's why I came on. So let's rewind. let's rewind. This is why I came on anyway in the first place the other day, right? I was trying to get here to this part where we at now, like where you had this. Well, I guess it was a little bit earlier in the conversation where you kind of discuss how you the people who thought they were already here and how you felt about that, and then kind of where we at now, right? I wasn't coming on for like beef or nothing like that, because I was like, damn, I remember Bias used to go. We used to go at the Abos and shit like that. Like me and Unbiased, me and you used to go at the Abos a lot. On your channel, I think you used to.
Hey, bro, I ain't never. I ain't never
have a discussion about.
Hey, dude, if y'all did, that's on y'all. I ain't never direct my attention to Abos, bro. I have no arguments for an Abo.
Okay, so I might be mistaken. But anyway,
yeah, that was Sean and them thing.
So my point was, so I might be mistaken then, my bad. But my point was that a lot of them, that's what I was coming on to discuss. A lot of them be like, yo, slavery didn't exist. We was already here and we didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I was just confused by that. That was all. That was my whole thing.
All right.
You know what
so let me straighten that out.
Like, you got the right to have your channel and say what you want to say on your channel. Who am I?
Yeah, so,
you know
right.
what I mean?
So let me address that then. Let me address that, because I heard people say, hey, this guy's on your channel, that guy's on your channel, and they trying to like.
I don't even know that. I don't know the different the Abo guys, so I wouldn't know any of that. Okay. Go ahead.
So because I believe I'm pretty witty, and yes, I'm very good at chess. And chess is about planning and solving problems. I'm very good at solving problems. So I thought about what language, because I feel like people are calling themselves things, and people that might be a roadblock from people to come together of the same lineage. So on my channel, bro, I say I'm FBA AL's descendant freedman, but I really just use the term the lineage. So over here, the lineage supersedes these acronyms. Okay? Because all those acronyms are doing, they are names attempted to describe the lineage. So even if somebody came over here as an African American, right? And that's the terminology they want to use. I wouldn't even trip. The fact that they're still galvanizing on one commonality, that they are of the same lineage, I'm cool, because that's my pitch. It's the lineage. Now, I thought about Abos. That's okay. So an Abo is going to believe, and when we say Abo, to my people, Aboriginals, right, who believe they were already here, and then no slaves. I say that's not an issue for me, because I will ask you this: do you believe that those people were already here? Do you believe that? Do you believe with their account of history they were already here before the slave trade?
Do I believe the Abos was? No, I don't. Like African was here already. No.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, cool. And that I thought about that. Okay, so don't you believe if they do a 23andMe, it's going to bring their ass back to Africa somewhere?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so if that's true, wouldn't they qualify for to be FBA?
Yeah.
Right. So that's how I look at it. I said your origin story doesn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. Are you FBA or you're not? Are you of the lineage or you're not?
Yeah,
and
but
it turned out. No. Listen,
they wouldn't even take a.
Okay, no, but listen, what I'm saying though. Listen, what I'm saying though. I'm saying, listen, it don't matter. What I'm saying, at some point, everybody got to prove what they're saying. At some point. Mm-hmm. So if people were really here and they could prove it, that means they got to do that. So that means that, if they were right the whole time, then they sourced up. If they can't prove it, it's going to be an issue. Okay. When it comes to tangibles and allocations that are directed toward the lineage, right? So that's all that matters to me. It's like at some point, everybody got to prove what they say they are. And right now, this ain't the time. We're still galvanizing, but there's going to come a time. Right now, we're taking everybody on face value. There's people who say they're FBA. We don't know. There's people saying they're Adolfs. We don't know.
They say they not of the lineage, though. Ain't that the point, right?
Oh, wait, what happened?
Isn't that the point of the Abos is like that they
What?
ain't of the lineage.
Who said they're not of the lineage?
The Abos.
That is
That's absolutely false. No.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, you bugging.
You're completely wrong.
Bro, this is
Completely
this is
wrong.
how I understand it. They don't
Completely
think
wrong.
that they were a part of our history, like this.
There's misinformation.
Go ahead. Go ahead. So they are.
Professor Small doesn't even believe that. Professor Small doesn't even believe that. Even though he acknowledged, acknowledged that his family, just like Dewan B talked about his family background when he was having the back and forth with Professor Smalls acknowledged that his own family took him to the burial mounds and told him that his ancestors were buried in the mounds. Okay. Okay. So he acknowledged. It doesn't. See, the thing is that
Professor Smalls. I'm saying I'm telling
you, if you listen, you will understand. The point is that if you're tied into the experience, see, the slavery aspect is the connective tissue.
Mm-hmm.
Tethers don't have that connection on this landmass here. Okay, that will be like us trying to, if let's say Britain and France decided they wanted to pay reparations to Africa for colonization. Are we going to get that based off of being African? No, we're not going to get that. We're going to get it from this particular experience because it's here. You know what I'm saying? So Professor Smalls even acknowledges that part, while at the same time trying to be connected to Africa as well in terms of the Pan-African. See, the Pan-African part is the ideology that tries to connect the melanated people of the world from a melanated perspective and trying to tie it into a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? ADOS and FBA is more from a lineage base. You know, that's Pan-African. Before Pan-African existed, we still existed. You know what I'm saying? We still had a lineage here. Pan-African was just a theory that was created in the Caribbean. That was just people trying to believe in or wanting to believe in some idea of us all coming together and working together, which I'm not saying was a bad idea necessarily if it was actually practiced by the people who came up with it. But that's not what happened. But whether Pan-Africanism exists or not, our lineage is still concrete here, though. And that's the whole point. There's nothing to argue about that. Like, either you have it or you don't. Just like I can't claim Igbo because I don't have that. Because I'm not that. So it's the same thing. Just like a Yoruba can't claim Igbo. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not considered that.
Ron, you there?
Yeah, I just.
Hey, Ron, we got a